Check.
All right. Yeah,
We're live.
Sounds normal. Nobody's here though because we didn't tell anyone about the show.
They'll get notifications now though, won't they?
I guess I can post it to the thing.
Yeah, I know.
I'll do
It's
something.
Sure. Our green screen's looking juicy as heck.
Oh.
We're all keyed out, brother.
Got me feeling loose. Got me on the alcohol. Blame it on the vodka. Blame it on the Henny. Blame it on the something
that
something.
could be it. Blame
I don't
it
know.
on the juice. Blame it on the...
Blame it on the juice. Got me feeling loose. Blame it on the Tron. Got me in the zone. Blame
Let's
it on
make
the
sure Neil's mic didn't somehow get turned up
alcohol.
way high.
Blame it. Oh, I can't... Oh, no, I can't hear myself.
All right. No, we're live. We sound fine.
I know we sound fine, Neil.
I know we sound fine, Neil.
I know we sound fine, Neil.
So apologize to everyone for
dirty
being late.
bastard.
Everybody apologize.
Okay,
On
let's
one,
fade out the
3,
music.
2,
Oh.
1.
Ah,
I'm sorry.
Happy
no,
birthday.
Will, it's not. You have to say. I'm sorry.
That's how I
All right.
No,
apologize.
you've never said that before in your entire life.
That was a nice transition.
Oh, yeah? Man, it sounds a little loud. Maybe it's just my headphone.
All right, can we start this thing?
What do you mean, can we start this thing?
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back to another
There we go.
episode of Who Invited Will. To my left and your right is Neil.
Buzz.
And to my right and your left is Will.
That's me.
It feels like we're on a slope today. Man, the setup today is just not our best. My
It's fine.
hair is all keyed out. That's why it doesn't. That's why I look bald.
Where's the YouTube?
Where is the YouTube?
I just posted my story.
Where is the
In our
YouTube?
YouTube.
Here you go.
in our
Nice.
story.
Dirty animal. All right,
Perfect.
let's text some people and get them in here.
I have a question for you guys, honestly,
Okay.
truly. And
I'm
I-
gonna get some whiskey in a second.
most of the
so-
time when I'm listening to a song, I'm not listening to the actual lyrics. Like
Oh,
I'm not
never.
thinking about what they're actually saying.
Depends.
Me
But
neither.
most of the time, like 90% of the time, no.
Right? 90% of the time, no.
No, I'm not listening to. a
Unless
word.
it's like a sad song or you're in a sad mood or something, right?
a sad song.
Or unless it's a story.
Okay.
And
okay.
it
Okay,
makes
for
sense and it
example,
sounds
you know
good.
the Creed, the song "Hold Me Now."
No.
I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm.
That means you're
thinking-
going to die.
So no, so he's like,
Oh,
so
he's
I
edging.
was listening to Creed on the way over here because I saw like a post and I was like, oh, I want to listen to Creed all of a sudden.
Uh-huh.
So
Why is
he
our live
says-
stream called this?
he
We gotta
says
change the
because you
title.
did it, that's fine.
Oh, because you did it. I love that. Immediately blame. Don't even know
well,
what
who
I'm
did?
saying.
Who else did that? Had to have been you. There's nobody else. You're the producer.
You know, you have access to the YouTube account. You can go schedule a live stream. What's stopping you?
So, Neil,
I'm not the
continue your
producer.
story, please.
So I'm on the way over here and I'm listening to Creed or whatever, and he says, "Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet ain't so far down."
That means maybe dying isn't that bad.
Right,
Some
right.
some emos.
But right.
Why
6
do you
feet
always sound
under the
so
ground?
loud?
Because I'm talking
Yelling
loud.
in it.
6 feet. 6 feet. Under the ground is obviously you're in a coffin, right?
That's what that means.
Right. But the literal meaning is that he's going to jump off this roof and it's only 6 feet lower to the ground.
What do you mean?
What do you mean the literal meaning?
Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge of the roof.
Of the roof of
What
a
it-
cliff.
Or
Of
his
a cliff.
No, of the roof of the edge of his
Of a-
grave.
Bro, of
The
a
edge of
cliff.
his grave,
But then
not
he's-
the cliff.
Let's say he's on the cliff. Let's say he's on the
It's
cliff.
not a cliff. It's
He's-
his grave.
Whatever. That's not the actual what
Okay.
it is though. If you think about it, he says I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet ain't so far down. So if he's 6 feet from the edge, and
That's
the,
not what
the
that
edge,
means.
that's what he's saying.
No, he's
yes,
not.
it
He's
is.
saying maybe
I
6
know.
feet
I know what
isn't
he's
that
actually
far
saying.
down.
I know he's saying that. I know what he's saying. But if you think of it literally, it means he's jumping to the 6 feet lower, to the. from
Against
the edge
OSHA
that's 6 feet
regulations.
lower. No, well, yeah, he would need fall protection technically, and people have died falling 6 feet before. But when
That's
you
why.
think about it,
That's
I'm like,
why
that
if
just
anyone ever
sounds-
leaves a ladder,
I just feel
out of
like it
place.
could be written better.
Wow.
That's
So
my
that was
thought.
your story?
Well, why do you what do you got?
Oh, I got something.
No, I don't.
I
wanna
have
hear
an
it, actually.
announcement.
I already take it back. I don't
I
want.
have an announcement.
Really?
No, but seriously.
Yes.
Is this real?
No.
No,
but
it's
listen to
real.
lyrics-
No, okay, no, I've heard you enough.
Listen
about
to
this.
lyrics of songs more often and see
Uh-huh.
how much you actually like the song. I bet you're gonna not like a lot of songs.
I
that you're
agree
singing
because
about.
a lot of them don't even make sense.
I
It's
actually
like
it,
this
it
one.
ruins
Garble,
it.
garble.
It ruins it for me when
When
I
you-
listen
when-
to lyrics. That's why I don't listen.
You just sing them though. Do you sing the lyrics?
Sometimes I
Yeah,
listen
without
to
even
if it
thinking
gets
about-
drilled into my head, but I try not to listen to lyrics as best as I can.
Yeah.
Well, there's that one that
Unless
I
it's
remember,
J. Cole that Will's listening to.
Yeah,
Literally,
exactly. I was gonna say
That's
J.
a
Cole.
story.
Will's like, you gotta listen to this. Every time he gets like
It is very
drunk
good.
and there's people over, he goes, "Oh, you've never heard this song? Listen to every single word right now." And of course, J. Cole's like, and Will's like, "Isn't that amazing?" And you're like, "I don't know, I'm drunk," and he just said 40,000 words in the
Yeah.
last 2 minutes. So.
There is a really good. He has a good song about
I played Snow on the Bluff earlier.
the
for
kid
today.
from high school that's bringing the girl over.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Is it called the Neil Schneider High School
No.
story? Okay, that was the worst joke I've ever
No,
made.
that's
Um,
fine. 5 minute, 5 minute mute.
Yeah.
I get your headphones for 5 minutes.
Okay. Oh God.
If anybody says my guy, I get the headphones for 5 minutes.
there's the.
If anyone says what?
My guy.
All right.
on
There
the show.
it is.
Dang it. I don't-
It's like
Look,
first
it's
time.
saying it's not.
It's my first time.
What's the widget gonna do for me? Stream
I
health
don't
is
know.
poor.
I don't think it's that bad. I just looked at it.
Boys. Jenny!
Can you guys hear us? Is it
Austin!
coming in?
It's fine. Guys.
Jenny,
Okay, I have
little
an
known
announcement.
fact.
Wait, Will has an announcement.
Austin from the chat's wife's name is also Jenny.
Nice.
Yeah, see?
That's good.
Is it glitchy?
It's quite choppy.
Yes, it's choppy.
Just don't move that much.
What?
It's not that choppy.
I have an
How do I get to
announcement.
Lutz?
Yeah, okay, what's your announcement, Will?
You know what's choppy? Your golf swing, Lutz.
Is this a big announcement?
Uh huh.
Let's hear it.
I
No,
found
it
out.
says there's no audio. There's no audio.
No audio. Wait, let's wait.
Did you do something?
Okay. I just feel like we're
It's
ruining
back
Will's
now.
announcement.
Okay. When you, yeah, okay.
Sick.
We got to get
I
this
have an
production
announcement.
better. This is just insane. Go ahead, Will.
Will, what's your announcement?
I
You're getting
Found
married.
out-
You're getting married.
Again, for the fourth time.
that I actually am somewhat athletic.
Oh my God. I thought it was going to be something
That's just a lie.
important.
It is.
It's just a lie. Not only that, he's
You're
lying.
gonna love this. Jay's gonna love this even more.
Okay, go ahead. Fencing?
I-
Is this fencing? Yeah. Okay.
No,
It's not?
it's a new sport. Jay's gonna lose his mind.
I think I know what it is.
What?
Hold on. Let me try to remember.
Let me think. What requires no hand-eye coordination, but just like something like just you
I
just
know what
push
it is.
something hard.
I know what it is.
What?
It's boxing.
It's boxing.
He thinks he's going to be Floyd
Okay,
Mayweather over here.
Go ahead. I love
They
it.
It's
call him the
actually
Great
boxing.
White Hope.
This is
Hold on.
great.
Let
This is
me
actually
get
a
some,
great
let
segue.
me get some whiskey. I can't.
No,
listen
go
to
ahead.
this.
No, I have to listen to this. Give me the headphones.
You better listen.
Go ahead.
Listen over there, Jay. This is gonna be a story for you too. Okay, so what's up, Kurt? This week I was like, you know what? It'd maybe be fun to go boxing. So I booked a class.
You were just pissed about something or what?
No, I was just kind of curious about it for some reason. I don't know why. And so I showed up to the class, and it was this beginners. Yeah, you probably can't. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. It was this beginners fundamental class. And so I show up. You're supposed to bring hand wraps. You're supposed to bring your own boxing gloves. I show up. I'm like, well, I've never done this before, so I don't know.
I'm
what-
bare knuckle.
And so, well, they didn't even give me wraps. They're like, well, we have some gloves for you to use, but we don't have wraps for you to use. So I
Sounds
just put
safe.
on some.
legit gym.
So my mom is not happy about the boxing. But so I go in there, and so I just like put the gloves on, and there's me and this other guy. It's our very, very first class. And so, and then there's probably
You get for Will setting the microphones up.
10 people or something.
Okay.
And so we
But
start-
only the new guys are only you and another guy.
me and another guy. Okay.
Okay.
So we start doing the warm up, and so then she's talking to us. She's like,
Shit.
She's like, yeah.
It's the same lady as the fencing.
no, yeah, that would actually be
She
funny.
comes out and she's like, Hey, I know you.
Okay.
So we set up, we start doing some drills, and so she's like, okay, so you throw a 1, that's a jab. This is how you set up. If you're traditional, you step, and then if you're gonna throw a cross, you also kind of step in with it, and then if you're gonna go left or right, so we start doing the stuff, right? Punch, boom, do. We go through it. Then
Good
we
form.
end up.
It's on the hips.
We end up like getting in partner groups, and then we start throwing combinations. So it's like 1, 2, hook, 1, 2, I guess, 1, 2, 3 or something, right? Whatever it is.
1 is jab,
So
2 is cross, 3 is hook.
Yes. So the guy's like,
1, 2, 3.
I mean, he's basically
Wow.
a professional.
There you go.
Wow.
Just for
So-
the audience who might not know.
So
what he
that's
means
what it
by
is.
the numbers.
So the guy is doing it, and I'm like seeing him. I'm holding the things, and he's like holding his gloves way out here, and so it keeps like hitting him in the face because I'm hitting the gloves, and it's just like hitting whatever it is. Right? He goes through the thing.
Why are you hitting
I'm
yourself?
also-
Why are you hitting yourself?
I go through some like other rounds with these other guys. Then we start doing bag work. So we get done with bag work. She's like, throw jabs, not that, but like heavy bag work.
This feedback, you just.
I have like a whole thing. Yeah,
That looks terrible on camera.
So we get done with everything,
Okay.
and she comes up to me after class and is like, "Was that really your first time?" I was like,
Of course she did.
it actually was my first time.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, yeah, you don't need to be in these beginner classes. You can go up to intermediate. You definitely know what you're doing. You're definitely really coordinated. What other sports did you do? Right?" So I'm like, "Oh yeah, they
There's
see
the
a
play.
sucker when they." But then
So
I
when
get-
are the intermediate classes? Oh, well, they're double the price. And
So then we get done, but then as she's talking to me, I just see the other guy just staring over with like puppy dog eyes, super
Oh no,
sad
it's too
about
choppy.
it. And she doesn't say anything to him, like at all. Just the guy just
Thanks for coming?
leaves. Yeah, she's like, "Hey, yeah."
where was this?
Like close to Trader Joe's. It's like an actual boxing place. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to because then that was like an actual. This is horrible, Jay. Come on, let's just focus.
Let's just focus. I am focused.
Producer,
Okay.
I'm more
producer.
focused than
Okay.
ever.
So
We need-
then what? And when
It's
it
tough.
and we can't be switching if it doesn't work and they can't even hear us. Maybe let's not try playing stupid gifts.
They can hear us.
Okay.
They can hear you berating me and being completely rude.
So
They can hear that.
So then I decided.
Loud and clear.
So then I decided to go
Gone
to
downhill.
another one where it was like more of like a fitness workout, but it's called 9 rounds, and you go and do 10 3-minute rounds.
And they were like, "Is this your first time
Wait,
boxing?
You did what?
You
did
just
9
took.
rounds for 3 minutes?
Yes.
You know
That's
who he
insane.
is? You know
No,
who he is?
not live sparring.
You know who he is?
It's 3 stations.
He's Francis
Oh.
Ngannou. His first fight, he could take
Yeah.
on the weight
Okay.
class champ.
So listen.
Okay.
So then I show up
Need
here,
a cherry.
and the guy. So it's like I do some.
So this is the intermediate one now.
No. This is a completely different gym.
Oh, you said.
Go to a completely different gym, and it's like me and the head trainer there. There's no one else in the place. And so, and again, there he was actually like, "Do you have gloves? Do you have wraps?" I'm like, "No, I don't have either." So he like shows me how to wrap my hands, gives me a pair of gloves to use for a day. I do some jumping jump rope for 3 minutes, and we do like some weightlifting stuff, and then we get on pad work again, right? So he's like, "All right, so this is how you stand. You throw a jab." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I mean, I know what most of the stuff is, or I've seen it enough. So he's like, "Okay, yeah, you know what you're doing." So I start throwing stuff, and then this was more like Muay Thai stuff. So I was like throwing elbows and knees and kicks and stuff
Okay, into the pad.
into the pad, and the guy's like,
He's like, dude, do you want it?
He's-
We're looking for a world champion.
he's like,
And we just found
he's
it.
like, "Are you sure you haven't trained before?" I'm like, "No, man. Like this is my second time. I went Monday, and that was it." So we get done doing everything, and like as I'm doing the stuff, he's talking to me too, because he's like, "Actually, I train at like a real MMA gym, not just like fitness thing." And
He
he
said
like
that?
trains with like Corey Sandhagen and like actual like good UFC fighters, and he holds pads for them. And I don't know. So we get done, and he's like, "How old are you? What do you do for work? Like, are you interested in going to like a more of a legit place?" Because he's like, "You're really not going to get much out of this, but you have enough fundamentals to like be able to do something if you want to do something with it." And so I was talking to that guy too. And
what did you think you're gonna do with it exactly? What do you want to do? Do you remember how we talked about jujitsu? That you like jujitsu, but when you go to practice, you're basically sacrificing your body. You're probably gonna get hurt, and for what? So that's what I'm thinking with this. What are you gonna do with this? What are you gonna do? You're gonna go train an MMA gym now?
I
start
might
sparring and then get hurt.
maybe.
Is that what you want to do? What do you want to do?
I'd like to spar at least once. Not as necessarily
Boxing or MMA?
Boxing.
Okay.
Bigger gloves.
So you
I
can't
don't
go
like
to the
kicking.
gym that this
I
guy
don't
just
think.
recommended, right? You're not
No,
gonna
because
go
those
there.
are like animals. Like it's the professional
So what did he
MMA
suggest
fighters.
then for
Well, he's
boxing?
like he didn't really suggest anything. He's like, hey, it all depends on what you want to get out of this too. Same thing. He's like, are you trying to get into MMA? I'm like, no, not really. He's like, well, you could still come train, but I'm just letting you know, like the people that are there are like trying to do this professionally. So
Right.
there's like a different level of mentality going into those things. But I don't know. I just thought it was funny because then he was also like, after I hit the pads, he's like, so you were fucking with me, huh? You've trained before.
Oh.
And so it's just funny because I guess a lot of people, I don't know. Well, and at least I saw the other guy training. I'm like, okay, so that's what a beginner looks like. But I don't know.
I mean, was he like, what makes him a beginner? You're just throwing a jab, right?
Yeah.
Like what was he? Do you know what the other guy did for a living or anything? Like,
No.
did he look athletic?
He didn't. I mean,
Did he look
he
normal?
he looked normal. He was like fairly skinny. He looked in shape, but he didn't look like he didn't throw a punch. Like it looked pretty weird.
Looked weird.
It looked pretty weird.
Oh.
But that's my story.
It was like Robin.
Worse. Well,
So what are you
Robin
gonna do?
can.
So do you know? Okay, so where?
so
is this?
and
Are
most
you,
of
why
the
don't you
stuff-
just do this
back
intermediate
to-
boxing class? Why don't you
Yes,
go there?
I'm most likely that's what I'm going to do. And back to mob, like I might spar like once or twice or. Sorry, excuse me.
I got someone you
to
can
try
spar.
it. Well, that's what I was going to say. Okay,
I got
who?
someone you can spar. You're looking at him.
I was gonna say
Let's go fucking- let's go
that's
spar.
even funnier
That's
because
a
I
good-
was
that's
gonna
a good
say that
episode.
I
I
get to
know
train
for a
too.
fact. Okay, good. I know for a fact I'd beat the shit out of you.
You wouldn't, though.
I know I would.
No, you wouldn't.
You've never played a contact sport in your life.
Basketball.
If you're counting,
Basketball's not contact sport.
It's non-contact.
it's pretty
contact.
okay. You would. It would be insane. It would. Not
I don't
be
know
good.
if I'm willing to, for content, potentially get hurt. I already did the marathon.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
you should go spar against somebody else, and then you can
Yeah.
sacrifice. I sacrificed for a while.
Uh-huh.
Will and I should spar. He can
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, there you go. You want to do it? You two do it. You know what? It's time for me to sit one out. Actually, I'd love to sit one out and watch something.
As long as you can film.
Yeah, I can film for sure. We
but
got to
yeah.
figure this stuff out though. This production stuff is getting. This is the worst it's ever been. We've been doing this for years. How is it getting worse?
I almost feel like restarting my laptop would help, but
Okay, well we can't
Well,
do
we're
that
not gonna
now.
do that
Get
now.
off
That's
your
too
phone,
late.
my guy.
no,
That's
I'm
oh!
looking at this stream.
That's a headset and a 5-minute mute. Give me the headset. Okay.
Now I get to talk about Will's boxing
Okay.
experience.
Yes. Okay. So it's 8:09.
I feel like it's not. I feel like it's not even working.
8:14:20. 5 minutes at 8:14. I said. So,
Oh, it's not bad.
Jay. Speaking of boxing, so Will's telling us about his boxing. How do you think you would do in a boxing
Okay.
match against Will?
Beat him.
You would beat him.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, how long of a would you guys be willing to spar for? What would be a fair sparring rounds and minutes?
3 rounds
3 rounds.
maximum. Yeah.
3 rounds. How many minutes? 5-minute rounds.
3-minute rounds. Are you kidding me?
9 minutes total.
Yeah, maximum.
I think that people. That's fair.
No, we got it up.
No, hey, why are you talking?
It's a best of 3.
You're on mute.
It's a best of 3.
Okay, you can come back later and talk about it. You can come back later and talk. You can't talk now. Best,
best
of
of
three,
three rounds,
3
yeah.
minutes. I'd love to be. I want to be in
But
the
Will's
ring.
gonna-
I want to be in the ring. I want to be the
ref.
ref. Yeah, and I'll break you guys
No
up when you guys
experience.
clinch. Why not? I know when you're clinching and stuff. I'll count. I'll do the countdown. The count up to 10.
You mean if we're like wobbling each other, we're
Yeah.
just knocking each other out? We're
Yeah.
We're gonna do 8 counts?
I doubt either of you are gonna knock each other out.
I don't want to knock him out. Why would I want to do that?
Well, so it's a real fight, right? When you guys say sparring, you're actually gonna try to
No, if
box
it
each
was
other,
a fight,
right?
we would say fighting.
So a 3-round fight. Is what we're
Sparring is
asking
just
here.
like
just practicing.
You're going like maximum probably 75%
right
power.
Right.
At
So
like the maximum.
why are you
You're not,
looking
like-
at him? He's out.
Oh.
Don't look at him because
Well,
he's gonna.
the
wanna say
thing is
something.
this.
Okay.
Boxing
I think
is,
it should be a fight. 3-round fight. Would you
Neil's
be
like,
okay
we
with
got,
that?
We got to get sanctioned.
Would you be okay with that?
A fight, an actual fight against Will? Not really.
That's the whole point of this. What's the point of sparring?
Well, it's
There's
you
no
can-
winner in sparring.
Yeah, but there's people. You can kind of tell. Like you can look and see. Oh, that person did better stuff.
Well, then we're gonna do that, but we're actually gonna judge it. You can spar, but it's a judged
Who are the
spar.
judges?
Me.
Okay.
Me.
So you're gonna give us 10-9 and everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will. I'll write it down on a piece of paper. You guys don't see it. I'll show the camera.
I'm guessing Jenny doesn't like this idea.
Spar. So anyway, speaking of, okay, so I think we could make that happen. We give you guys, how much time would you like to train? 6 months?
No. No, we can do it
I don't
sooner.
think you're
We
gonna
can do
do
it sooner than
You
that.
feel like you're gonna? I don't feel like you're gonna.
We can
commit
do it
to
sooner
this.
than that. I will.
You're gonna have to
9
get
minutes.
gloves.
I'll get in
You
there.
have to get gloves and wrap. And
I
all
have
that
all
stuff.
of that.
You have it?
Yeah.
You
I
have boxing gloves.
Yeah. I have boxing gloves. I have wraps.
You got to get the same weight boxing gloves. Make sure that
Okay.
9 and 12 ounce.
Yeah.
Listen.
Because we don't want the Queensbury
I
to
want
go
this-
against the Queensbury rules.
I want this to be as fair as possible.
So what?
Okay.
I have 12-ounce gloves.
Speaking of boxing,
Those are big
okay.
and heavy, so it's probably
So 12-ounce
better.
glove. What's the difference? So that obviously the heavier the glove, the harder you're not going to get hit, right? Because it's harder to throw them.
well. You're also swinging more mass, though, right? So
But are they softer?
yeah, but the padding's not really there to protect the guy's head as much as it is to protect your hands. You know what I mean? It's not like the extra whatever 2 ounces of padding is gonna really
Okay.
matter if you're getting clocked in the face.
I absolutely
right?
think we're going to do this. What we're going to do is you guys are going to spar/fight 3 rounds, 9 minutes total.
Okay.
I will judge it. We'll score it. It's going to be awesome. You guys got to train a little bit. Maybe we can get some video footage of training. We can do like a lead up. You know how they do like a 2-minute
This is-
intro?
this
Why
is
are you
such
even
a-
making, you can't make those either. You can't do that. You can't do anything. You just sit there. You can't move. Okay. So speaking of boxing, I want to talk about this
I was
Fury.
like, you think I'm just gonna sit
I
there
was
and
waiting
let you
for
sign
Will.
up for
I
a
was
boxing
waiting.
match, Neil?
I was waiting.
Really?
I was
Really?
waiting for Will to come back. I want to talk about. Unfortunately, he won't be able to talk.
Okay,
another
look.
minute. I want to talk about Fury and Ngannou, this boxing fight.
No,
okay?
I'm not gonna like go hard and try to like break Will's face.
Dude, they don't know
Like-
what you're reading though. Remember we talked
Jenny
about that?
said, "Remember, what am I?
Well,
5-year-old
you're just
child?
responding.
Remember, Jimmy, when we went to the store, we said we were going to be quiet in the car.
Yeah.
Um,
Jenny says, "Just hate to have your handsome faces get mushed up." Well, I'm not fighting, so my handsome face stays the same.
yeah, you're not
And these
fighting, so
guys
you have
aren't-
no
and These two
idea.
aren't handsome, so
Here's the thing, though. Like, I think it's basically just going to be like amateur, like tag, basically. Like, we could wear headgear. You know.
well, obviously you'd wear headgear.
I mean, I don't think headgear really does anything.
Yeah, you
T-
can
20
wear headgear.
seconds.
No, why?
Because it was at 8:14:20.
No, I didn't hear
I looked
that.
at that.
I didn't hear that.
Well,
You said
your
14.
mic is not even on, so you
Turn
don't
it
sound
on.
good.
No,
Turn it
so
on.
the thing about boxing gyms,
5
though,
seconds.
that I'd say to Will for when he comes back is like, of course they're gonna say like anyone who's reasonably athletic, like combat sports is like the bottom of the barrel for athlete. Like, no offense.
Which one is it?
The one on the far where
This
no.
one? This one?
Not that one. Undo that one.
Give him back.
You know what I mean, though.
He's gonna want to respond.
It's like
now.
Eric Nixick's coach said. He was like, Francis Ngannou's coach, Dewey Cooper. Really good interview.
Dewey.
All I've been watching lately, by the way, just as a quick aside, is podcasts about software development and podcasts about fighting. And that's it. Those are the two things I've been like basically exclusively doing for like the last few weeks. Anyway.
Fair enough.
So Dewey Cooper, and I actually emailed one of the hosts of the podcast of programming because Dewey Cooper was talking about Francis's team, and I was like, this is exactly the principles of good software development. Like they were talking about how the team works together.
Okay.
Like, but yeah, Dewey Cooper was saying like if Francis was born in the United States, you would never know Francis Ngannou the fighter because he'd be making millions and millions of dollars in the NFL. He's just a freak athlete. Like if he'd grown up in the U.S., there's no way he would have like ended up in fighting. And the implication there is fighting is like something you do when you don't have a lot of other options in life. When you don't have the D1 scholarships. When you don't.
So you're not athletic.
No, if you are athletic.
No, if you're not athletic, you go fight.
Either you're not athletic or you're athletic, but you don't have the opportunity to do like you didn't get the chance to do.
You're not athletic enough.
No. It could have been just you got in trouble or. You just like fucked around or you never applied yourself. Like athleticism is like born, not made, right? Like, so there are people who are athletes who aren't like in programs. Maybe they have a life where they're like, they try fighting and then they're like, oh, wow, I'm actually really good at this. And everyone's like, you are good at this. So I guess my point is, with Will, it's like anyone can learn boxing. And like, if you're reasonably athletic, you'll probably be decently good at it.
Isn't Jake Paul a perfect example?
Right. That's actually a great example.
Thank you.
Because he was a guy who didn't grow up boxing, and he'll never be great, but he could be good.
He's good enough to fight real boxers and compete.
Because he was already famous.
He fought Fury, the brother.
Yeah, that guy's a reality TV star in England.
Is he?
He's like from England Big Brother or something. I don't think he's like that serious.
He's a brother of a world champion.
Yeah.
Well,
and also,
speaking of world champion,
too hot to handle. I think is what he was from.
I want you to respond to what Jay said about the fight. Because you didn't get.
Because people say that to me, kickboxing and stuff. Oh, you could be on the fight team, and it's like what they just really want is someone that their pros can beat the shit out of when they're training. No, seriously, when they're training to be real fighters.
Yeah.
If you're dumb enough to, hold on, technical. Hold on, I think it's this.
Is it not the camera?
No, I think it's this.
No, it's not.
The camera's good.
So I want you to respond.
You know what I mean, though? Like, you would just end up being a training dummy. Like, because you're not going to fight, right? So it's like, if you're just one of those people who just loves it so much and wants to learn for no money at all, then you'll just get fed to the
Dennis
people who
was
are good.
McGregor's sparring partner,
and
right?
you might get good yourself, but you'll also get a lot of fucking head trauma in the process.
Dennis was McGregor's sparring partner, and he was terrible.
Well, he was a jiu-jitsu coach.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
He was a jiu-jitsu coach.
And he never used jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
Connor,
he was
trying see how well that went. Anytime he goes to the ground, he loses the fight.
Yeah,
the guy has to stay. Oh my god!
I think it's delayed by a bunch. I think
anytime that guy goes to the ground, he loses the fight. Have you noticed that?
Well, he gets tired.
I want you to respond to the Jay thing.
I
want you to respond.
McGregor has like the worst cardio of any like elite champion. I feel like
even though he rides the bikes and does all the stuff.
I honestly think he does not train that. Like, come on, dude. That guy trains that hard. Come on.
Not anymore. He was a
trains
dog.
hard.
He was a dog.
When he was on the come up, he definitely had more hunger, and he was training. He was training well. I don't want to say he wasn't training well, but like, I don't know. There are people who you just like Tony Ferguson puking in the video that he put on Instagram.
What is that saying about like the satin sheets?
It's hard to Marvin Hagler. It's hard to wake up and run at 6 a.m. every day when you're sleeping on silk sheets.
Silk sheets. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Respond to Jay.
I think,
trust me,
Jay's actually trained before for a while, kickboxing.
He's bigger.
He's a lot bigger. That's why I said you, because I know I could beat you. That's why I was calling out you. We're the same weight.
Yeah, but
I think it would be
you've done
if we could get the
jiu-jitsu
video,
and wrestling.
If we could get the
How
video
does
right,
jiu-jitsu and wrestling translate to boxing?
Even sparring
does.
Sparring would be.
It's like how does tennis?
I think the one way it
translate to ping
translates
pong?
is heart. That you need a lot of heart for those. Sports.
That's what I'm saying.
So in boxing, like you could quit, but like wrestlers usually like could take a lot of punishment.
Well, and that's what I noticed even during the training, like how much people just give up, and like they're at a group thing where you're supposed to have like extra motivation because you're around others, and they just like stop doing stuff, and I'm like. And it was my first time, and I was completely gassed, but I'm still like throwing punches and doing stuff. So I think that also, I think that's a big part of it is just like being uncomfortable and being comfortable, or being at least okay with being uncomfortable.
It's also like trying,
being
like it's also
being
just
uncomfortable.
It's
Yeah.
also just like
Being
knowing,
comfortable, being uncomfortable.
That's what I said.
Okay, yeah.
like push when you get to that resistance, like pushing past it to some degree, even
Yeah.
if it's like hurting you or whatever. It's like just being able to, it's like you got that dog in you,
Yeah.
where you're just like you want to win so bad, you're willing to, and you have that, right? Like in tennis, you
Yeah.
always say like you're not the most athletic, you don't have the best backhand, but you
I
have
do
a,
now. My backhand's nice right now.
but you have a great forehand, and
I have a good
you
backhand right
You
now.
have a will to win.
I think next
and you
year's
have
gonna
an
be.
aptitude
I
for
think
the
I
game.
figured out my backhand. I think I'm gonna have a monster year if I can stay healthy.
And I think
I love how
Monster
every
year.
time the season's about to end, Neil's like, I think I'm quitting tennis for the rest
Yeah.
of my life. And then like 6 weeks after the season's over, he's like, you guys don't really understand what it's going to be like next year when I show this backhand.
Oh,
dude."
my backhand!
They're
I
like,
changed the
if
grip.
Neil with the backhand, unbeatable.
I
I'm
think
telling
I
you
might-
right now, Nationals, I got a taste. Next year, we're going to go at least second round. I wouldn't be surprised if we make it
I think
quarterfinals.
no, but this is not about me. But I think I could be an absolute. I think I still have a little left in the tank.
little left.
This
So-
backhand's disgusting.
But then
right now.
I think
It's
the
really
other
good.
thing, Neil, that is different that I would have a leg up advantage is that live sparring piece, whether it's jujitsu or wrestling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like being you versus someone else in like literally the most physical sense.
I'm completely out of my element.
Yes.
You're used to fighting and jujitsu and stuff. I haven't been in a gym, in that kind of gym. It's completely uncomfortable for me.
Also, you gas incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
Like when you're actually
everyone,
live,
not
when you're
just
live
you.
sparring, like because it's so mentally draining that you don't like breathe correctly and you don't move correctly. You're doing a lot of like just really like
Holding your
herky
breath
jerky
and-
stuff and holding your breath and like tensing up a lot and like in 30 seconds you're like I've never been literally this tired. You look at the clock. You know how they always look at the clock in UFC? It's because they can't believe that it's been like 1 minute. They're like, what the fuck? I still have 4
Yeah.
minutes left. And you see it when they get tired. They start looking up because they're thinking like they're probably in such good shape that they just need like that 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes break. But like they're probably completely gassed, like to
Yeah.
a point
And
where
then
you
your
can't even
arms
realize.
Will, would
crazy
you
heavy,
agree
they're
to a
just like-
three? Do you think three?
No,
min-
I
three
would-
rounds,
no.
3 minutes.
I would do 5.
Because
5
you just
rounds?
want to. You just saying this
Yeah.
because you think he's gonna gas.
Yes.
That's the other
exactly.
reason.
Yes, exactly.
Does that make you a better fighter though?
I
The
mean,
other
it's
guy
part,
gasses?
of fighting.
So you're saying that I can win, but only if he gets really tired.
Yeah. He's also a lot bigger
But also,
and more
like-
experienced.
But also, like, I can conserve my energy more than you because I am bigger. That's the other thing.
I don't think that's how that works.
No, I think it is. Because, like,
What?
let's say, like,
Conserve your energy
let's
because you're
say-
bigger.
yeah, let's
No,
say, like,
that's not a real
I
thing.
get tired, right? I can stay away from him for longer just by virtue. If he has to cross more distance to get to me, then I have to get to him. And the other thing is I can clinch and lean on you, although your clinch will probably be a lot better than mine. But I can at least, like,
What does the clinch?
clinch is like taking a break.
I
in
know what
boxing.
it is, but why are you saying it's better? You're just taking a break.
Well, you're
Because
leaning
I'm,
on him.
I'm
That's
bigger
like
and I'm leaning
Fury's
down,
thing.
so
Yeah.
he has to carry my weight if we clinch.
Oh.
And so then my
Just
arms
leverage.
get tired from trying to like
oh, so
get
you're
the
just
under.
leaning?
That's what
I
Tyson.
thought they're lining
That's
on
why
each
Tyson.
other.
That's one of the main reasons why Tyson Fury didn't do well against Francis because
Yeah.
he's always fighting smaller guys, and rarely has he, fought like bigger, like a really guy who's like bigger. Except Klitschko, like back in the day. But he ends up like if somebody lands a big punch or if they start getting momentum, he just starts leaning and pushing him back to the ropes. Well, Francis is like a
Too
damn
big.
rhinoceros. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can't lean. What are you leaning on? You're leaning on like
You're
a
leaning on a brick wall.
exactly.
The one
and then
right
the wall
behind
starts
us.
moving, and you're like, okay. And so you could tell, like, Fury just had nothing from the clinch. And there was a time when Fury threw a nice downward elbow when Francis was coming in, and it was crazy because it was like
It was illegal.
it's illegal, but it's also like he's so frazzled or whatever you want to call it that he's going for like dirty stuff. You know what I mean? Like he's not
Yeah.
like doing regular boxing. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna pull out the dirty trick just to get this guy to slow down a little bit. And Francis is just such a tank. He did not slow down. I mean, the third
I
round
sent you
knockdown was
guys the
impressive,
stat.
but the eighth round he was boxing his face off. He was throwing combinations. I was like, Francis is actually getting off combinations right now. He's on the inside. He's weaving. Like it's insane. And you know,
I sent you the stats from the fight. I didn't see the fight myself. I know you guys both watched it.
I was losing my mind, honestly.
It's rigged, yeah? There's no way. I heard that
I
there's
think
absolutely no way that Fury.
boxing
Look at
is
the
very
stats.
subjective.
Can you pull up the stats? I have it from every round.
Okay.
I sent it to you guys.
The boxing is very subjective in a lot of ways.
But that.
Well, and, just getting back to if we were to ever
you want the
spar,
doc, yeah.
anyone,
If
any
anyone
three
was
of us.
to ever spar.
The whole thing too, it depends. Like there is a specific gym down south, but in order to spar there at all, you
Down in
have
Atlanta?
to be a member of U.S. Boxing. Bring your own, like I don't know, they call
Well,
it
how
like
much
a
do
letter
you want
book or
it?
something.
How much you want
I
to get
don't know.
into? You're gonna have
I
to
know.
do it.
Well, I don't. It depends because I could also go to the jiu-jitsu gym that I know people at, and they do like kickboxing as well. And
Do
so
you want to do kickboxing though?
honestly, I don't know because I
That
was
sounds
throwing
a bad
kicks
idea.
and my legs are all
Yeah,
bruised up,
that's not a good idea.
even from the bag. I'm like,
Why are you throwing
golly.
kicks at a boxing gym?
Well, it's kickboxing.
You went
Well,
to a kickboxing gym?
No. At the jiu-jitsu place,
you
they do
did it?
MMA and kickboxing. The
Oh.
place I went was just boxing.
The thing about boxing,
it was
though,
it was two. Sorry, Jay, real quick.
Yeah.
The first place was strictly boxing, and then the workout one was a kickboxing workout. So I was doing combinations. That's what I was saying. I was throwing elbows, knees, and kicks as well as punches.
Keep going all the way down.
the thing,
Okay.
and this isn't on the
final
screen.
punch stat report. Okay.
Fury landed more jabs. Ngannou landed
More, just a couple more power punches.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
can they see
that's
it?
okay. So that's
Yeah.
the thing. They're like boxing scored round by
Can they
round.
see this?
No, they can't.
Why not?
Because it's gonna
We're gonna
fucking
lose
freeze.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it'll
fine.
start freezing again. And
So total punches is 71 to 59 Fury. Total jabs 39 to 22 Fury.
but power punches, Francis
30, yeah.
137-32.
So, but how
And he
much
got
do
a
you
knockdown.
factor in the knockdown?
because boxing it counts for it's a 10-8 automatically, so it gives you basically
10-8
yeah,
automatic?
if you get knocked down in boxing. Yeah. So basically, if it's scored round by round, like Fury landed more punches, and that's what the boxing people are like leaning on. They're like, oh, he landed more punches, but it's like
He did.
first
when
of
you
all,
look
this
at
isn't a game of tag, right? Like, is that what boxing has become? Like that's my gripe with it. Is like, okay, maybe by the like letter of the law of boxing, he won. But like, come on, let's be real here. Who would you rather be at the end of that fight? Who was all marked
Well,
up?
yeah, that's
Who
what
got
they're
knocked
saying.
down? Who got multiple combinations thrown on them with unanswered punches? So you're like, and then people are like, oh, that's how MMA is judged. No, MMA is judged the same way, round by round. You could lose a round, a bad 10-9 round loss, and then come back and squeak by a 10-9 round, and in MMA it still counts. So it's not how MMA is scored. What it is though is like a sign that like this is why people don't like boxing, because it's boring.
Too technical.
It's not too technical. Technical
is.
to me is knocking someone down. Technical is not like, oh, I was able to like juke you and land a little pitter patter
It's by
jab
the
that did
numbers.
nothing.
It's a lot by the numbers. Look, the numbers.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be
Support Fury.
that shouldn't be how we're looking at boxing. I honestly blame Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather, this was like every fight of his was like this, but he was the Fury, and everyone was like, but also he wouldn't never
So
never
it's all
got,
about the numbers. You're saying. It's
but
just
Floyd
numbers.
never got knocked down. That's the difference. Floyd never got knocked down in his career.
But one round doesn't determine a 10 round. Was
But-
it a 10 round fight?
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is,
That's one round.
but what I'm saying is, everybody now looks at boxing as, oh, it's this technical da-da-da thing. But like, let's say the roles were reversed, and this is like, maybe people will say, no, actually Fury wouldn't have won. But I think if, let's say the roles were reversed, let's say the same fight happened, and it was Fury who knocked him down, and Fury who dominated the 8th round,
Okay.
and Francis landed a few more jabs. Do you honestly think Francis would have got that decision? Hell no.
No, but it's
Hell
also
no.
By the
you
numbers,
gotta-
he didn't dominate the 8th round, though, when you look at it.
But
He
that's
didn't.
the thing is,
He
it's
just
not a
knocked him
game of
down.
tag. It's a game of trying to hurt people. You're not just like, oh, I tagged you more times. Okay, yeah, that's technically a jab when I just landed on you.
Right.
But that shouldn't count for shit. If I throw 3 of those and you throw one hook that staggers me across the ring, you should win the round.
Right. But
That's
MMA
it.
is more on
It's
damage.
not about MMA
Boxing
or anything.
is not on damage.
Then boxing should change, because boxing is dying
that's why
sport
pe-
because
no,
of this
it's dead.
nonsense. People hate the.
It's dead. The judging has ruined boxing. It's ruined it.
And also, like,
And the
do you
money
agree with me
involved.
though? If Francis had gotten that same exact, if Fury had fought the fight Francis had fought, he would have won 9 rounds.
I didn't watch the fight.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, say it to
they
Will.
were
What do you
also
think?
saying,
But you agree? Do you agree with that?
It
I
would be
think so.
like, oh, it was
people
a landslide.
easily.
it was a
Yeah,
landslide.
he humiliated him. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But then that's the thing too.
But that's what people are saying about Francis. Like he humiliated.
He
him.
did humiliate him.
Oh,
This is his
with-
first boxing fight.
And also, dude, you're the world champion. You're gonna show up like that, dude. That's how you defend your crown. You look like you just
Do
got
you
up.
think he
like-
took him for granted? He said, "You know what?
Yeah,
I'm fighting this
100%.
guy,
Because he was
I'm
already
not gonna
announcing.
train."
He was
Yeah.
already announcing the next fight, but then
Well, he
something
said he
that I've
disagreed
heard
with
too-
that.
Yeah,
He
I
was like-
heard that, but then the other he was like, it was more for promotion. They wanted me to do it, but one of the things I was gonna say is like,
least watched episode.
yeah,
We're just talking about boxing.
you
for
have
about
to
40 minutes.
beat the
We're
champ
on
to
the
be the
topic.
champ, right? Have you
Okay.
heard that saying?
Yeah, of course. Beat the champ to beat the champ.
So and that's what someone else was saying, like, oh, I'm old school, and yes, it was
Yeah.
very close, and yes, he eked by, but it wasn't so dominant.
But here's
that it
the
was like-
thing.
I
But it's
don't-
a
Here's the
lot
thing,
more-
though.
It's a lot.
If
Go ahead,
Francis
go ahead.
knew how to box, like if he had,
You
if
gotta
he
be-
understood the gamesmanship of boxing, he said that at the end too. He's like, I didn't really like the pacing was weird for me, and like because it's shorter rounds, but it's a lot of them, so that's
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
And he was also
From
like,
MMA, you're
and,
saying.
and he said he was really focused on not gassing and being
That
able to
makes
make it the
sense.
10 rounds and still be able to carry power and like
Uh-huh.
have speed. And he was like. At the end, his coach even said like he was good in the 10th round. Like they're
Yeah,
like
he
could've-
maybe had
they're
too
like, he
much
could've-
tank, too much in
Right,
the
they're like he
tank,
could
though.
have probably put the gas pedal, and they were like, "We'll definitely address that next time."
Yeah,
like,
he needs to go harder in the earlier rounds.
well,
or later.
just- yeah.
Well, he gave it a lot in the later rounds. Sounds like
Honestly,
the later rounds he did really well. He knocked him down in the later rounds.
No, he
No.
knocked him down the third
Second.
round.
The eighth
Or
round.
second.
Third round.
Oh, I
Third?
thought it was the eighth
No,
round.
no,
You
no,
said,
third
you said he
round.
dominated the eighth round.
I think he did. Yeah.
Well, those numbers say different.
Grease
Exactly.
But
pigs
it's a
are
lot
pretty-
easier for an MMA. Again, this
Or, well,
guy's
it might
been,
have been the ninth,
the guy's
I
in
don't know.
MMA. He was a
been
stand-up
the
fighter in the MMA, so he threw punches in the MMA.
The
I think
MMA,
it's a lot
we call it.
easier to go from MMA to boxing than it's going from boxing to MMA.
100%.
Which is what's about to happen with Jake Paul
It's not,
taking
though.
on the
It
fight
got-
with Nate Diaz.
No, that got canceled. They're
it's not
gonna-
happening.
Nate pulled out. He doesn't want to do it.
He would kill him.
Well, you would think.
No, he
Yeah.
would kill. How would
Yeah.
he not? He just take him down. No, I don't think. I think maybe he doesn't want it. Maybe he's like
Young guy. Who knows?
He doesn't want to fight.
Maybe that's it too. Yeah.
he would get so much money, but he's probably good on money. I would think.
Yeah, and for him, it's more about reputation too. So it's like,
Right.
why am I gonna like throw my brand
A lot of
away?
money. A lot of money.
Yeah,
a
but
lot of money.
He can also just like,
and he gets
sell
to knock
weed.
out Jake Paul,
I don't think he'd knock him out. He would maybe choke him out.
choke him out.
Yeah.
No, but here's the
He'd be a
thing, too.
hero.
He
He'd
said
be a hero, a national hero.
he said you never
we
go
need.
back to the minor leagues once you've been in the major leagues, though. That's what he said. So he was like, I wouldn't go fight in the PFL because that's basically moving down from the UFC. I think he thinks he's gonna get a UFC contract.
Anderson
again.
didn't Anderson Silva fight Jake
Yeah.
Paul?
Oh, in boxing, yeah.
Did you see a
But-
picture
but
of
not in
Anderson
MMA.
recently?
Is he big?
Huge.
Oh, I love that.
Dude, he gained like 70 pounds.
Of muscle?
No.
Oh,
He's fat.
oh,
It's unrecognizable.
fat and happy. Nice.
It's insane.
That's awesome.
It's,
So
if
maybe-
you're fat, you're happy?
Maybe enough. Okay, so yeah, well, that's what the only other thing I was gonna say is like most of the stuff that I think I would be doing.
Whoa, he
that's
looks huge.
most of the stuff I'd be doing is just like hitting a bag, not actually sparring, and so I don't think there'd be that much head damage. But in general, I would like to know, just like be in there and like feel what it's like. Exact same reason that I went and did the jiu-jitsu competitions. Like it's just a little different.
You just want to
atmosphere.
fight.
I don't though, because
One time.
Well, yeah, one time, just to like see.
I used to think that, but I don't know, man.
What do you
Like a
wanna see? The adrenaline?
sparring,
You wanna feel
sparring.
the
Not, I don't
adrenaline?
want to like fight. No, I'm just curious because you never
But
know
spar is
until you're.
practicing. I don't get it.
It's practicing, but you have a. I mean, it is.
It is and
what
it
Jay's
isn't.
saying is like, I don't know if I'd necessarily say you're always at 75%. I've seen people go pretty fucking hard in sparring, and they're like trying to knock each other's heads off, and
Yeah.
you would have headgear on.
It's hard to
and stuff, but
cool off when you're in the
yeah,
heat of the
and
battle.
then
I just
you
feel like it's
get
an
hit
automatic
once.
broken nose.
It's
This
not
sounds,
when you're wearing the
yeah.
mask.
also, you don't
between
really.
it, though.
Also,
They
you don't
pop
really
right in
feel.
between
Yeah.
it,
Also, you don't
no?
really feel it. Like
I
it'll.
don't know,
But then your
man.
adrenaline comes
Is
down.
it
and you're
worth
like,
it?
my nose is broken. For sure.
But that's the thing. It's like testing
It's not
yourself.
even worth it to ski, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to ski, but there's something about like testing yourself against someone else that I think is interesting. just I don't know. But
Yeah. So is there anything else we want to talk about? I
Not
had some
really.
ideas.
What? I have nothing.
No issue?
I have an issue. It's a personal issue. It's my issue.
Sorry, we've been talking about boxing for the last. This is like what we actually talk about when we're not podcasting. Will and I will talk about fighting a lot.
Yeah.
We were supposed to talk about this last week, but Will wasn't here, so I said we'd talk about it. And he talked about boxing, so I said it's perfect.
I mean,
listen,
this
don't
is-
critique the show, okay?
This is low.
We're trying.
So I've been. So
We're tired. I
I-
can feel it. The
yeah.
energy's
I'm
low.
tired, man.
We're tired today. We're late. We got to fix this production though. If we're on the production's terrible. What happened?
We got to do like a.
We used to be able to
practice
show videos, picture
There were
in
always
picture.
there were always issues. I think my
No,
laptop
there wasn't
is
always
getting on,
issues.
getting on in years. Maybe I need a new.
isn't
laptop.
this the new laptop? Like 2 years old?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
No, that's ridiculous. How do you know what I think we need? We need to hire a producer.
No, are you kidding me?
Jamie. Okay, what did you want to talk about?
So, as you guys know, I spend a lot of my time thinking about software systems, right?
Oh God.
And
I didn't see this one coming.
and
Yes, go ahead.
no, get it
No,
out.
go ahead.
Get
go
it
ahead.
out, Neil.
No.
Get it out.
Software systems.
And so, by nature, like systems in general, like how systems function, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
and also how teams function, you know what I mean? Like,
Microsoft Teams.
I think
I mean, it's a good question. Are you talking about
No,
like
of
actual
course
teams?
he's talking about teams of people.
this is all going in my book. This is so like, okay, my current, like I said, I've been listening to all these software podcasts, right?
Right.
The philosophy of the people who make the podcast is that like a system is going to be high quality or low quality based upon how well the team is able to work together that's building that system or maintaining it or whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all. So if you want to build a great system,
Have
you
a
have to
great
build.
team.
You have to build a great team,
Yeah.
and they spend a lot of time talking about what makes a great team,
Okay.
but only a little bit of time talking about a great system. And the only real criteria that this guy believes about what's a great system is it a system that is easy to change? Can it adapt? Like evolution. Is it adaptable? Is it a system that when new requirements, new constraints, new demands come on the system, can the system respond?
Who
That's
is this
only
guy?
that's the his name is Dave Farley.
Is he
Farley.
traditionally successful, or like why are you listening to him? How did you come across
He's
the
like a-
podcast? What's
Yo,
Shay in the house?
Shay, what's up?
How did you find him? Why would you take what he says as
He's
gospel?
written a book called Continuous Delivery, which is kind of like his philosophy. But yeah, he's just like he's an accomplished software engineer. He's been doing it for decades, and he's
So what has their team came out with that's
he's
so revolutionary?
I don't know what it's called, but like one of the highest, like the fastest trading platforms in the UK. That was like one of the last like big
Okay.
commercial projects. Because now he educates and
FTX.
You know what they say?
yeah.
No, I don't know.
But he basically is like, we were working on one of the fastest, if not like the fastest trading platform in like the UK, maybe elsewhere. But basically he's a very experienced at building extremely complex, extremely performant, extremely efficient software systems, right? So like I went to Chick-fil-A before I came to the podcast.
Pretty efficient.
right? Not really.
Oh, so
They're
better than
essentially the
everyone
most
else.
efficient.
Well, that's
Right.
the thing. So I was in the line, and then they started doing what In-N-Out does, where they have people with tablets come
They've
out
been
to your
doing
car.
that for years. Yep.
Chick-fil-A?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Not
when it gets
new.
busy. Okay.
It's not new. They do it
So-
all the time.
I went to
all the time.
I went and I ordered from that person. And then we went to the window, and we were waiting and waiting. And then we get to the window, and then the guy's like, hey, your nuggets are taking a while. Why don't you pull into a space in the lot, put your hazards on, and we'll come out and bring your food.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So then we did that.
You
And
know why
came,
they do that, right?
Why?
Because if you stay in line, it goes against
It's-
their time.
It slows
The
everyone else
monitor-
up.
No, no. The inside in the monitor, you can see if you look inside
Talking to the
fast
mic.
food. I can't hear myself, so If you go inside a fast food restaurant, you will see that every time a car pulls up, it's tracking how much time it takes from their order to when they get the food. So if they get out of line, if you tell them go, it counts as a fast. Right.
So
It
should
doesn't
you
go
pull the
against your
power
record.
move and just
They
be like,
love to
no,
pull
I
that
prefer
move.
to wait here.
That's such a dick
No,
move.
that's such an unnecessary move.
Well, I'm scared.
So can you
No.
finish the story? So
Okay,
you
so-
pulled in, put your hazards on.
So they bring the food.
Uh.
I look in the bag, and there's like this little cup, and it's like grilled chicken. So it was like not what I ordered.
Sure.
So then,
You ordered the fried. good
but they
stuff.
came out and they went through the like employee only door.
Okay.
So I was like, what do I do now?
Right.
So I went with the little cup of grilled chicken nuggets because we wanted the actual chicken nuggets to the door and knocked on the door.
Oh wow.
And then someone came to the door and they were like, yo, what's up? And I was like, yeah,
Give me
this
my
isn't the right food.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, like, do you have a receipt? And I'm like, no, I just did the tablet. No one gave me a receipt. And they're like, oh, we're supposed to give you a receipt. And she's like, well, were you the 2 fries and the nuggets? Like, yeah. And she's like, well, she put the wrong nuggets in. And she's like, well, I'll bring you back the nuggets, the right nuggets, and I'll just refund you for them because we messed
Great
up.
customer service.
And then she comes back, wait till the story's over. And then she comes back and she's like, I can't refund you actually. Here's your nuggets, but I can't refund you. So I wait for like 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it is. She comes back and she's like, I can't refund you because you don't have a receipt. And I'm like, but I did the tablet. Like, she didn't give me a receipt. And then she was like, okay. And I'm like, well, can I just get a receipt then? Can you like print me a receipt? And then she was like, she just like walked away. And then the manager, who I assume is the manager because she's wearing a different style of uniform. And then she comes out and she's like, what's the thing? You want a refund? I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, we can't do it without a receipt. And I'm like, but I did the tablet and she didn't give me a receipt. And she was like, well, she's supposed to give you a receipt. And I was like, well.
Yeah, they typically give you.
And she's like, do you have like is there a sticker on your bag? And then I was like, well, don't worry about it. Like, whatever. Like, I'll just go back to the car. Because I don't want to make another trip and then come back.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot. You got to pick your battles.
Right.
$4.
We're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Take it.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
take
I got the
And you
nuggets.
gotta
I got
keep
the nuggets.
both of them,
They
right?
were Tita's nuggets, right? So I got her the nuggets.
it. Okay.
Did you get to keep the grilled ones?
I gave the grilled ones back. Well,
Come on.
Well, I was giving them back. And she's like, well, you can keep those. I'm like, but I don't want them. And so she's like, and she didn't want to take them, but she took them. Because I'm like, please, like, take them. I didn't say please take them, but that was my body language. I was
Okay.
like handing them to her. And so, human nature, you're just going to take it.
Sure.
But like, so anyway, the whole nuggets thing happened. And then I went back and I was just like, I got home, there was a receipt in the bottom of the bag. So they put the receipt in the bag.
Of course there was. And that's what I was going to tell you. I bet there's a receipt in the bag.
Well, but the person who did the tablet didn't give it to me. Somebody inside must have just shoved it in
Right.
at some point.
Yeah, I bet. I knew there was.
Well, it was
usually
under,
hand it
I
over
looked
with the
around. There
drink.
was something.
I just thought there'd be a receipt somewhere.
As soon as you
I just
grab
had
the
a
drink,
feeling.
No, because he told me to go to the side, and then he's like, pull over, and he didn't give me anything. And then he goes, oh, wait, here's your drink, just so you can have your drink while you're waiting. And he just handed me the drink at the end, and then I drove away. So there was no drink with the receipt.
that sounds like the
Okay.
worst Chick-fil-A experience I've ever heard of.
No,
I've
so-
always had a great time.
No, I haven't had this happen
You have
before.
fun at Chick-fil-A.
But this is what...
I go there to hang out.
Right, yeah. We'll just goes to the drive-thru, and they're like, what do you want to order? He's like, oh,
Nothing.
nothing.
Just want to catch up with you guys. How's it going, Daniel? Been a long time, man. Kids still doing well?
Sir, my name isn't Daniel. I think you might be thinking of the wrong guy. Come on, Dan.
Come on.
Damn, Daniel.
Danny boy.
Bring me, let's put a
Damn,
good root
Daniel,
beer on
back
the
at it again.
root beer on the house. Come on.
So
Come on.
anyway, I thought about
Your old
this.
boy Will, you don't remember me?
Me, look.
Look me in the eyes, Daniel, and tell me you don't know who I am. He's just like, sir, you're gonna have to
Security?
leave. Like
Security?
security. Yeah, there's no security. Are you kidding me?
No, but Chick-fil-A is pretty established and efficient drive-thru.
Okay,
for sure.
exactly. That's
The
what
most.
I believe that. So
This is what I get it now. Is the team is not good.
No, none of that.
Really?
I just thought this. I was like, okay, this happened. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not gonna.
I'll never go back again.
Cry in my.
Yeah,
No, I'm not
done.
gonna cry
I'm
in
gonna
my.
talk about this on a podcast.
I'm not gonna
with
cry
hundreds
in
of
my
viewers.
beer. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna cry in my whiskey. But I was like telling Tita on the way back. I was like, so like, think of Chick-fil-A. These Christian bigots or whoever owns it. They've probably paid millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to have like the best consultants, McKinsey or Deloitte's or like what's the one Paxton worked at, Accenture. Like they probably have one of those firms, right? And it's like, how do we design the most efficient drive-through process? How do we
They
make
were
it
the
so,
first that I am aware of that did the remote stuff because Whataburger does it now.
Yeah.
Who else does it?
In-N-Out
In-N-Out does it.
In-N-Out's the pioneers of
I
remote,
don't know
feel.
that.
Maybe not.
I don't know. It's either Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out for sure because Whataburger does it now too.
But my point is like with all the money they paid,
What a burger.
the moment that you fall off the track a little bit, no, everyone was like distressed that I was talking to. They were just like, "You don't have the receipt?" Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, she didn't give you one, and it was just like nobody could figure it out. Where it's like, and Tita said too, it's like, why do I need the receipt to refund you? Like, you walked to me and handed me the food. You know that I
Because
bought
it's probably
this.
something
How
with
do
the
they
system.
track it? Yeah, you're supposed to
tracking
give them your
system.
card, and then they're
Well,
supposed to
she asked-
refund it to the car. Like,
She knew who I was. I don't have to give her anything.
well,
Just-
you do.
You know, you charged me. I'm standing in front of you. This is reality. Just refund me, right?
Maybe they need something to.
Well, she said you have a sticker on the bag, so she clearly there's a tier of it's like when you're going to passport control and you're like, are you going to the bar? Well, I don't have my ID, but I have my passport.
Yeah.
So the ID is receipt and
Yeah,
passport
they
is
probably
sticker
have
on
to
the bag.
enter something into the
Of
system.
course they do.
Sticker on the. They have to enter sticker on the bag was
Well,
present into the system.
No,
That's
it's a
insane.
barcode.
No, there's probably something on the sticker.
There's usually a
They
barcode.
use
Oh, so
like
you
a-
think that there's like a
a number or something.
Okay, so they need to like recollect the same bag that they.
They don't
or
need
the
to
same
recollect.
order.
They just need to scan it into the system to have it locate the order in the system so that they understand the payment method.
They knew the payment
amount.
method
How do
because
they load it into the
because
system?
she came
Coming
back.
out-
She came back and told me exactly, "Are you Jay?" And this was your order.
Yeah.
So she had been able to track down the record, and she was confident enough to give me food. So she was able to remake food and track the record down because she knew exactly what my order was.
You know what we're gonna have to
but
do?
she wasn't able to refund me because
We're gonna have to get a representative of Chick-fil-A on the show, and we're gonna have to
Rules are
talk
the
and say,
rules.
"Hey,
no, they don't.
does
know.
your system allow for a refund without a receipt
Nobody
number?"
who works at Chick-fil-A designed that system. 100%.
They must know that
No,
they need it.
they
then.
hired
They
some
don't have to have it
software
designed.
firm. They hired some
We-
software
well-
firm or something, or some consulting firm to design an order. And it's probably a company that
They're
specializes in orders. They're like, we've done Taco Bell, we did Del Taco, we did McDonald's, and they're like, okay, you can do ours. Like it's probably that type of company.
People love Chick-fil-A so much that on Sundays people
Yeah.
want to go there and they're upset. Like it's a whole joke of like, "Oh, I went to Chick-fil-A on a Sunday."
Yeah.
Like people want it that bad.
Well,
So
also I
they're
think
pretty-
they like that.
So
they're
Sarah
re-
said one thing those consultants didn't factor in was the minimum wage employees' motivation. Poor drive-through, poncho kids in the rain.
Right.
Oh yeah, exactly. And
Well, that's why I didn't
well,
like make a big deal out of the refund. I kind of was annoyed, but then I was like, whatever. Like
So I had a
these
pretty
people, these people's lives are being ruined right now by like
Yeah.
an endless deluge of cars, and now I'm like throwing a wrench right into the
Yeah.
factory
Sure.
floor,
And
and,
so-
now it's gonna like spill newspapers
Yeah.
everywhere. Stop the presses. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right.
oh my god.
So one
Hold
thing
on,
I was
hold
gonna
on.
say
I'll be back.
was, Joyce and I went over to Kaya and Aditia's house and had a lovely.
goes by
dinner.
Kaya now?
She goes by Kaya now.
Gotcha. Katie, formerly Kaya,
Yeah.
formerly the artist formerly known as Katie.
And one of the things that they were talking about, they have a couple Airbnb. Or she's actually managing a host of Airbnbs for people, and
Oh,
like a
that's
property
interesting.
management thing. And she called up, and I don't know exactly what the issue was, but
Called
she
Airbnb.
Called
Oh,
Airbnb.
least favorite company.
talk
Probably
to-
top 5 least favorite companies.
UPS
talked
is pretty
to
bad,
a customer service person, and
Trust
they
me, bro.
explained da 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 da. Well, it's not within the policy, and so then she had some like basically deviation from the policy, and she's like, it doesn't make sense because I talked to 3 or 4 people. I had to keep calling back, and they all said the same thing. So what they're doing is they're having what it seemed like is they were having like telemarket or like people on a phone,
Call center people.
call centers just reading off of the script, which is actually true. And she's like, but none of them were using any critical thinking. And exactly
Yeah,
to Sarah's
well,
point, it's like there's a
They're
certain
explicitly
level
told not to. I'm sure.
where you
They're
just
like,
are
stick
like,
to the script.
no
Don't
free
get
will.
yeah, don't get crazy.
Don't do anything. And so then it eventually has to get to a manager position, and then it's like someone actually has to think about like, oh yes, this doesn't apply in this certain situation. Da 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 da. But they were saying like how it's crazy how many people out there are basically NPCs. And do you know what that is, Neil?
Nope.
Non-playable character in a video game, like when you walk up and it's like the shopkeeper and he's like, "Hello there."
Right.
A lot of people.
Would you like an
You know, like
apple?
people say like I'm the main character, and then everyone else is just NPCs. That's kind of how they
Okay.
You know.
So I don't know. Yeah,
Nerd,
it's all
internet nerd stuff.
kind of weird.
Well,
but
yeah.
I don't know. I think that
yeah.
Well, you want to think of ass backward processes. Have you ever heard of chargebacks? I know Jay has. Okay.
Yeah, what is it?
I'm the
Chargebacks
IT department
is
for.
when somebody-
I'm actually the IT director for a fairly large online real.
Yeah.
Online,
This episode is sponsored by
You're
Schneider
a
Tennis.
consultant.
online retail.
This episode is sponsored by Schneider Tennis. We don't approve of the production, but we approve of what you're hearing today. Schneider
Hey,
Tennis.
this is what you do. You go on the site, you order something, and just tell your credit card company that
That
it
you
was
didn't
a
order it.
fraud,
Yep.
and then
Schneider-
Neil has to pay.
SchneiderTennis.com.
Really?
SchneiderTennis.com. SchneiderTennis.com.
Free
Cheapest
rackets
Wilson-
as long as you
no
can
free
scam them.
rackets. Cheapest rackets out there, cheapest equipment. Who invited Will? 5% off. Who invited Will? Code 5% off. Now,
That's WHOINVITED
all one word.
WIL.
who invited Will?
All one word.
lowercase. Who invited Will? 5% discount.
That's
SchneiderTennis.com.
Schneider Tennis.
Check it out, would you? Check it
SchneiderTennis.com.
out. You'll love it.
What's your
here's
what's
a-
your motto? What's your business motto?
Prices by the people for the people,
SchneiderTennis.com. Prices by the people for the
and
people.
that's the truth.
Who invited Will?
So
And that's the Schneider Tennis way.
what I found out is that someone can make an order online. Okay, they receive the shipment, proof of delivery, everything. They can call their bank and say, "This is fraud. I didn't order this. I didn't order this," and the bank will automatically give them back their money and make the employer take the money from the employer, the business, until they do an investigation, which will take 2 to 3 months. And you have to show there's different types of chargebacks. There's a chargeback saying I did not receive the item because there's real chargebacks.
You know who
right?
implemented the
I did
chargeback?
not
You know who
receive
implemented the chargeback
Amazon.
model? YouTube when the fucking copyright strikes. You know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing.
Oh, they automatically just take their word for
and
it.
then it takes months to tell them like
So,
no.
we're not receiving something or being promised. You order a product and it comes in, it's a different product. Okay. Then you call the credit card company and say, "This is not what I ordered. Blah blah. Blah. I want my money back." They'll give it back to you. Then that it's a lot easier for employers to prove that what you're saying is illegitimate. If it is illegitimate, if you're right, it's easy for you to prove. If they're wrong, it's easy for the employer to prove. But there's one. Fraud. They can claim fraud, which means I did not make the actual purchase. Okay? So I have to show, or the business has to show, that where it was purchased from. So you got to use the IP address. You got to have that information, which luckily I have. You have to show proof of delivery, which is
is a lot.
irrelevant to it.
This is a lot.
You are. It's like 1 out of 10 times the business, even with all the proper documentation. About 1 out of the 10 times the bank will actually give the money back to the business.
How many times did you get hit with this?
At least one time, at least, and I think there's going to be 2 more coming. They seem pretty similar.
How much did they buy?
Close to $500 worth of stuff each person.
Each person? Wow.
And,
That's what you get for
and
putting
it says
yourself
the
out there on
billing
the internet.
address.
Have we
the
shown
billing
them?
address? The billing address, and
Have
there's
we
no
shown-
point. There's no point. This thing doesn't. We can't show anything of that other than us right now. I'll show maybe next episode if we get the stuff together.
They
But
all set up
the
like forwarding
billing address-
services. And,
The billing address is the exact same as the locations being shipped to. The name is the same. I even emailed the people. I have text messages saying, "Hey, did you make this?" I have phone calls logged. Did you make this purchase? They sound like a normal person, and then they issue the charge
Hi.
back.
Yes, I made
Yes,
this
I made it.
purchase
I have it. The
on
email.
9,
The question is,
17,
I
20,
have. So now I
23.
have tried.
And
You
Neil's
want
like,
to talk?
you
You want to talk about customer service? So I call Mastercard and I call Visa, trying to talk to them about what is their chargeback.
And
What
it's
do I need to
literally the
specifically
guy
show?
who's
They're
scamming
not gonna
you
talk to
in the
me.
call center. The guy who's scamming you is like 3 desks away from the customer service
Right.
guy from Mastercard.
No, they won't even
He's
talk
like,
to
he's
you.
like, he's like, was this you? Yeah. Okay, cool. Now I got this. Sorry, sir, but there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, no, they won't even.
That's racist. It's not Indian.
They
That-
won't even. Well,
was
a lot of the time it is. They won't even
Indian customer
talk
service
to you
people
about
are-
it. They
know
don't even give you any guidance.
their volume.
If you don't
over
have a card, they're
quantity
going to
over
support.
quality.
They're going to support their client. It pisses me off. This is actually like a huge problem with the system that we have.
Jesus Christ, we gotta
cl-
replace. We gotta throw this. thing
The
away.
clients, it's all the bank.
But you
automatically-
like it.
It's guilty
it's-
until proven innocent. That's
You
messed
like
up.
it when it's your credit card and you didn't do something.
But that's because I'm not doing it illegally. I'm not scamming. There should be that's a huge.
This is like
easy
this is like the
loophole.
gun control argument.
I'm doing
You know
it
what I mean?
because there's
What's
a
that?
reason
Like,
behind it.
you want to go buy a gun with no checks and no like you have to go
Yeah.
to class.
I've done-
But when
I
it's
want
some
everyone
crazy
else to,
guy
yeah.
who shoots, yeah.
I'm curious what's going to happen because, again, I have all the supporting documentation that I believe you need. I've also hired a lawyer that I'm going to talk to on Monday. It's free consultation. I'm going to say,
so you haven't hired a lawyer.
And he's like,
I have
he's
a
like,
meeting
hi.
scheduled.
And he goes like this.
What is that? I don't need a lawyer. I need guidance other than what Shopify is telling me what I need to show.
No, this is
and what I'm reading online.
Neil goes in Monday and he's like, "Hi, Mr. Frank Azar. Nice to meet you." And he goes, "Oh, your handshake's feeling strong. Strong arm of the law. Am I right?" He didn't even sponsor the show, and we're doing Frank Azar.
Yeah, why are you free ads? Schneider Tennis. So anyway.
Apparently he shits himself. Apparently he shits himself in public.
Just do it. You're going to get your money back. Why not?
You know what he does? He shits himself
It's wrong.
in
You
public.
didn't do it. You didn't order it.
He shits himself in public.
I
Frank
didn't know
Azar.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He apparently gets
Maybe
really
it-
wasted in public and shits himself. That's his
tough.
move.
I think what
That was my Neil's got issues. That chargebacks.
that was the issue. Are we supposed to talk on it?
Strong arm, weak.
We didn't even
strong
do
arm,
it.
weak colon.
We didn't.
I didn't feel like it.
We did not do an intro to it, so
Was
no
that
one
the
even
Neil's
knew.
got issues? Yeah. Okay.
Chargebacks.
We did it.
So chargebacks are.
Yeah, I love how Neil goes, "I have never brought an issue that was."
How
me
do you prove?
last
How
week."
can you
It
prove
was
that
like the
somebody?
fifth issue that was just he came up
Even
with.
even with the effing IP address, how can you prove that
Nice.
somebody
Okay, this
actually
goes back to
made
exactly what I
the
wanted to talk about.
purchase?
This goes back to what I want to talk about. Systems.
No, answer the question. I'm asking you a question.
What's the question?
If someone claims fraud that I didn't make this purchase, and even you have all the supporting documents, how the hell can you prove that they actually made the purchase? You'll never be able to prove it unless you have a camera of them literally doing the purchase. That's why you can't win.
So
You
yes,
can't win.
That's why that people have every single shop. When you get big enough, they just have something that's just part of the cost of doing business. Is there's going to be loss due to fraud, due to people stealing, due to
Well, more people should do it
damages.
then.
Well, that's why
Can't lose.
that's why those
You can't
AI,
lose.
That's why those AI fraud protection apps are like
It's-
such good
it's
money
specific-
because they can go to a business and say like, "Sure, you're paying us whatever it costs in our subscription fees, but
You're saving.
we are like 90% effective. So think about how much money you get
And
on
my-
chargebacks every year, and it's less. So
Yeah,
you're
and my
making-
fraud
you're making
detector
money.
did go off for that.
And you said,
And I said,
fuck it.
I'm
You
gonna.
said
I
you said to me,
I
fuck
talked
it.
with him about it, and I said, no. Before I said
Against
that,
your
This
I-
is way too much money. I
Against-
gotta cash
Yeah.
in.
no, I
Against
said
your
I'm
IT
gonna do all my due diligence. I'm gonna do
Against
all
your-
my due diligence.
Against your IT
Which I
director's
did.
advice, you said
No, you didn't say that. So I think. This is going to be a learning process. I'm going to see if I can win this case. I'm curious because I have all
Take
the
it to the
documents.
Supreme Court.
If I can't win the case, then there's no case
and
that
it
can
turns
ever
out
be
there,
won.
it turns out there was no chargeback, just like with the gay wedding thing. They're like, we tracked down Sunil,
Right.
Shankar, and he said he never. He said he never even played tennis.
Why does
Not
it-
only that he doesn't play tennis, he's actually a quadriplegic. And he's been that way for about 20 years, so there's literally no way he could play tennis. And the Supreme Court's like,
doesn't
I
even-
think we're going with Schneider here.
He doesn't. He doesn't even own a credit card.
And then
Schneider
the
knows.
Supreme Court justice goes, "Did you say who invited Will for 5% off?" That's the legal opinion. And then it's like, well, I guess we know where they're going.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Just
that's what I'm
getting
just saying.
kickbacks.
Can you believe how easy it is for people to do that?
See you on the court
It's
later,
all
Mr. Schneider.
Online orders though, because in person you sign a receipt. Online you don't sign a receipt. So
They should take a
that's the whole
picture.
point of when you. So the funny thing is,
You
I was
should
at the
hack
mall.
their webcam.
I was
We
at
should
the
hack
mall
their
the other
webcams.
day. I was at the mall the other day, and I got issued the receipt. And if you really read the receipt, it says you're consenting to making the purchase. That's why you're signing
But
it.
you could say someone else signed it for me.
That's the other thing too. That's why I say it. You'll never be able with fraud. You'll never be able to show the
It's your
evidence.
word against theirs.
You'll
Cost
never be able to.
of
The bank will
doing
always just say that.
business.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So that's the stupidest line ever. Cost of doing business that scammers can get away with it because the process is wrong. The process is nothing. There's no real process.
This is exactly
Neil,
what I wanted to talk about.
There's so many. I don't think you understand.
Everything's like that in life.
That's not a real process.
What I'm saying, I don't think you understand the level and sophistication of scammers and what they will do to scoot around and find loopholes in the system and exploit them. That's
Chargebacks have been known. This isn't new
I don't
scam.
care.
So fix the system.
Hacking has been known.
Oh, we're screaming.
Like everything's been known. You know you're gonna get. There's a possibility of getting pickpocketed.
So shouldn't the banks change the system to make it less easy? They haven't done shit. They just keep letting them do it and keep issuing statements
It's such
saying
a small
it's the employer.
percentage that it
How
doesn't
do you
matter.
know? How do
it
you
has
know
to
that?
be because
Wrong.
they're not getting pushback. Wrong? Why are you saying wrong?
Because
You don't
I
know.
have the orders to show it. If I'm going to get
Okay,
two
you
more-
have $500 but think about it happening at the Amazon level. If it was affecting their business where they were losing billions of dollars, even millions of dollars, well, they probably do lose millions of dollars. But if they're losing that much money, they would make sure that something got done.
You're not hearing me. I'm talking small businesses. I'm not talking Amazon monopolies.
Okay, well, you are a small business
Yeah,
and
so-
you don't have any power.
So then why are the small businesses being punished for that? For
Because
doing
no
a
one-
legitimate duty. Legitimate duty. And if they show the statements, then they should they should win the chargeback lawsuit. Why are you shaking your head that they shouldn't win if they have the documentation? Why should they lose if they have the damn documentation? Why?
Why is anyone going to
Give me a reason.
Because why would anyone take the case to, like, who is going to even be looking at that? So you're going to say anyone under $50,000 of total.
If they have the
Can you just-
documents, if they have the documents to prove it, they should win the case. Why are 1 out of 10 winning? Why?
Because it takes the judicial system is all messed up.
Judicial system. This is a bank. This is one person sitting at a desk at the bank looking at the document and saying denied.
It's
That's
processing.
what it is.
It's processing, and it's not worth their time.
Exactly. So that's unfair. So why that's effed up by the bank?
Because it's their customer. So would you rather lose a customer or would you rather side with the business that they bought something from?
Do a real investigation. If the documents
Why
are
am I
there,
going to do a real investigation for $500 when I'm making
because the
millions of
documents.
dollars?
Then why do you have the
No.
process then?
Because so that you feel good that you did
I
something.
feel good. Look how pissed I am. I know what's going to happen, and I
So then
know I
don't
did
do
something
it.
right. No, I'm going to fight it. Why would I give up on it? But you're backing up the banks. That's insane.
I'm not backing up
Yes,
the banks.
you are.
All I'm saying is it's real world. Like what you're
Fix
saying.
the issue. Just because issues exist, just
So how do you
all other
fix
issue
it,
just
Neil?
keeps it.
How do you fit every
You have
single,
hired people.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to hire someone
There
for
should be a
$60,000. And
No, they're already hired. They're already doing the investigation. Have them
No.
call the employer. Have a discussion, communication. Not just somebody behind a desk just saying no. They ship out the paperwork. You have no say and you lose. That's messed up. How can you see that that's not messed up?
No.
That's not messed up. That seems fair and equitable.
I'm saying there's
Bullshit.
limited resources, and just because you're getting screwed over in this one
Not just me.
situation, I'm not saying well, we're talking about you, and you seem pretty upset about it.
Yeah,
So
I'm fighting small businesses for small businesses.
For
Someone
small-
needs to stand
yeah,
up for the
yeah,
little
you're
man.
doing it for
I've been
everyone.
standing up for little men my entire life. That's why I'm the vice president of the union.
yeah, so then why didn't you
I'm
do this
standing
before
up
until you got
I
a
didn't
little
know this
business?
existed. I didn't even know this was a thing. He told me when I first started the business that I should buy fraud protection. I said, what the hell for? And he said, there's these things called chargebacks. And I had to look into it.
And then you
I'm
didn't even
like,
listen to the system.
no, I did. I said, I'm going to gather all the evidence before I ship this, which I did. I don't know if I'm going to win or not. If I win, then I don't know what I'm mad about. But I have a feeling I'm going to lose because I've looked up the percentages. And the fact is, if I lose, there's a problem because I did every single thing you could
Okay.
possibly do.
So then
That's bullshit.
But then you are getting ahead of yourself. Who knows what people have, if they have fraud protection, if they did all their due diligence, if they have all the paperwork.
Okay.
Let's just see what happens. But
Yeah.
for you to say,
Prevention is a lot
these
easier
small
than
businesses
Absolutely.
need to, for all these small businesses where fraud happens, the big credit card company needs
Try
to
What?
like have this entire staff to
Okay.
go look into these issues. You don't think that this happens at like a thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands dollar level where people are getting frauded out?
But why is the bank taking the money from the employer right away? Why are they not taking the hit on it and then distributing the money as they see fit? Once they do their investigation, they have millions of dollars to do that, billions of dollars to do that. Why are the small employers being hit immediately and having to wait months to get that money back?
Because it's
That's
their money.
Wrong. That's
I mean,
wrong.
it's-
That's wrong.
It's wrong. That's America, brother.
Well, that's a stupid answer. That's the point. Is what I'm trying to bring
That's
as a fact.
America.
What I'm trying to bring to light, shed to light, is that is a thing that's going on.
That's
Probably not a lot of people know about
America.
that. That's what happens. That is the process. I'm learning about
Mom
it
and
because I'm going
Dad
through it
and apple
myself.
pie.
But that is a wrong process. That is ridiculous.
Baseball-
that is happening.
baseball games are-
Punish the employer. Punish the employer, even though you don't know if they did wrong or not. Punish the employer right away. Punish the employer right away. You don't, because you haven't done the investigation. You don't have the documents to prove it. You haven't done shit. But we're going to punish them.
It's not a court case.
Rather
it's
than,
a business policy.
It's a case. It's an investigation.
Mom
it's an investigation.
and dad and apple pie.
So I'm just saying, if you're going to investigate something, get the answers first, then distribute the money. Don't just take the money right away. That's
Mom
my
and dad.
What do you guys
and
think
apple
about it? I'll
pie.
let you speak on it.
Baseball games and
speaking on
Christmas in
Then you're
July.
just saying, well, that's the way it is.
That's
what
America.
I'm hearing.
I think that's America.
Stop for 2 seconds, please. What?
That's America. That's America to me.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
That's what Sarah said, basically. In capitalist societies, there are winners and losers, Neil.
Go ahead.
And it doesn't matter if you lose by an inch or a mile. Win is win.
Okay, go. Will?
Is it messed up? Yes. Would I be upset as a small business owner where I am getting punished for people ripping me off?
And blatantly
Is that
doing it,
messed
blatantly.
up? Yes. Is it a low percentage? It must be for now. Of the time that I mean, I've said this so many times. I've been talking to you. We've been talking about this the whole time. I've said the cost of doing business. I mean, there is not necessary, like, things don't go, this is what's fair and this is what's right. That's not how things work, though.
A lot of things are typically how you decide on how to make rules and regulations. You think of what's fair and what's right.
Well, we just got back to the
Typically.
boxing. I mean, it's like at every level, you're gonna, again, people find loopholes and stuff. Nothing is perfect. It's imperfect people trying to make a perfect system doesn't make sense.
But if something, you know that something's imperfect, then make some sort of regulation to fix it. Make a change.
There isn't enough money in that,
Yeah,
and not enough
100%.
people are bringing it up for that to become material for an organization.
Yeah, nobody cares about fairness. They care about what is going to make them the most money.
Yes.
Is it pissing off small businesses who have to accept transactions anyway in order to live? Or is it losing customers who go, that bank didn't give me my money back? Also, there's probably like regulations the bank is following where they like have to give them their money back, kind of. You know what I mean? Because the bank...
Then give it from their own money. Give them
do
from
they
the
even
bank.
have money?
They should have insurance policies. Of course,
Sure.
FDIC should take care
you
of
would
it.
think, but then I don't know how that works either.
$250,000 per account.
Well, yes, I'm not talking about that's completely different
That's
from a credit
insurance,
card.
though.
That's insurance. And maybe these big places, they do probably have fraud insurance up to a certain level. But I think they're probably also expecting small businesses to have fraud insurance up to a certain level. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes?
It has
no,
to
fraud
exist.
protection, not fraud insurance.
There might be.
What's the difference? Fraud protection
gives you a little bit of a preventative, hey, they were flagging this order, do some.
Well, protection is okay.
Do some,
so that's like a preemptive.
I'm checking into my San Diego play.
But anybody can do a charge is what I'm saying. The way the process is set up, anyone can do it. It doesn't have to be a scammer. You can go do it. You're going to get your money back. And you're never going to be approved that it's fraud or not. You get free stuff. Do it.
And I think
Why
people
not?
do it all the time.
They should. Why not?
Nobody's
stopping them.
If a
that's the
if a
problem.
company's
I'm
not
trying to
getting
raise
if a
an
company's
issue.
not getting back
And-
to me, I constantly go, I'm going to charge you back then, and then they email me back.
Well, I'm just saying you don't have to do that, my guy. Oh, I'm out.
Thank God, am I right?
Yeah. Can we move on to?
So anyway,
not
let's talk
boxing,
about
not
my
chargebacks?
system.
No,
You're not
We're
talking.
done. You're done.
My whole thing was about systems, and I think Neil's
Oh God. Best episode ever.
I think Neil's soliloquy. Wait a second.
No, this is still. It's really, really behind. Where it was just me and Neil talking. You'll show up. You were getting your drink. Continue. It's fine.
I'm invisible. Oh, there I am. We're watching the YouTube feed, which is just trash. I mean, talk about systems. It's like this bit rate is 26. Just tell me how to fix it. I don't care about the numbers. Sarah said, Jenny said Neil needs some empathy, and I do empathize with Neil because it sucks. But yeah, like the chips are stacked against you, and like you have to realize that if you're gonna continue doing this tennis online thing. If you're mad about this, Neil, wait till you find out about the 2008 bank bailout and all the big bank employees held accountable. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
that's what America's about: punishing the banks. That's what we're all about. We're
too big to fail.
Stick it to the man, because we're America. God damn it! No, are you kidding me?
And
Like,
again,
yeah.
it really comes down to
People are
what's
so screwed
material.
over. People are so screwed over every day.
Yeah.
Like, talk about a real tragedy. This Chick-fil-A nugget thing. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm just saying this, Will. Like, I spend a lot of time at work, and especially lately. I mean, I really like my job because I can spend a lot of time thinking about like architecture and system design and code design in general, which is like the stuff I'm actually interested in. Not like I'm interested in building stuff, right? Like I'm interested in making something cool and how do you make something that's really good. And the thing that I always think about is like, most people are just showing up at their job to get a paycheck. They don't care about whether Schneider Tennis LLC was robbed. They could not care less.
Yep.
If they tried.
Yep.
They don't like, and it's like, that's kind of what we're battling. Like everyone is forced to go to work and everyone is forced to just like do something they don't want to do every day. And so you're battling the constant, like very natural tendency of people to be completely apathetic and incompetent, which I feel like is the default state of, like, people say incompetent as if it's like you should be competent and we're incompetent. No, incompetent is the default state.
Yeah.
Competent is like if you really put effort out or you go above and beyond, and very few people actually care about that. So that's what I think about constantly when we're like building software, right? And it's like we have software problems. God bless you. When we have problems with the system, it's not that like we don't know, because Tito was saying too, it's like people know best practices. People know like that it's unfair in Neil's situation.
Yeah.
They know that like they should just refund me for the nuggets or whatever. Like you know what I'm saying? When the system breaks down, people aren't stupid. They know that it's wrong, but also they're not paid to really care. They're not paid to like put in the effort it would take to rethink a better system and propose that and get management to buy in and get them to suggest it to senior leadership and get, like, no, most people, they're just like, man, I just want to enjoy time with my family. I want to like have a few drinks with the boys. You know what I mean? I want to go out. They're not sitting there. They're not sitting there like worrying about values, like doing the right thing.
You know what a great analogy
or doing
is?
their best, right?
There's the same amount of people that are frauding as there are people that actually care about their job.
There's more frauding, I hope, or else we're screwed as a human race and we're just cattle. Yeah. Because honestly, you should be getting one over on your employer if you can. If you can not work a whole day and nobody notices, you shouldn't work. Like your job as a capitalist employee is to maximize the amount of like compensation you make and minimize the amount of effort that it takes. Yeah. That is like your sole responsibility as like a capitalist agent, right? Mm-hmm. But like what I'm saying with the system thing is like,
should we wrap this up soon too?
I mean, yeah, sure. Neil's not talking, so the episode's going off a cliff.
No, it's going great. I'm just saying we're getting to 120.
But what I'm saying is this, right? Like
processes. It's important to have people that show up that care.
If you actually want to do something really great, right? You need like a great team of people, and everyone to be a great team. Everyone has to like know their role. Yep. Everyone has to be giving a lot of effort. Yep. And trying their best. Like George St. Pierre said something about boxing or about like martial arts in general. Right. Yeah. No, you'll get this. That's why I brought it up, because it would be relatable to you.
Nice.
He said that like he said that like up until he was 18. So this is his story of like how he got his black belt in karate. His dad took him to the karate class. Karate. Sorry, sensei. So his dad took him to the karate class. And then he said there was like about 100 people. And his dad was like, here, you and your sister are staying in class, right? And then next week, there were like 50 people. Yeah. Half the kids were just like, I'm never going back to that again. And their parents were like, cool. He, I think, was one of them. And his dad was like, no, you're going back. He said over the years, all it took was that he was like, his dad forced him and just didn't allow him to quit. Right. Yeah. And then he got to like 18 or 17 or whatever when he got his black belt. And he was like, there was 2 of us from the original class who were actually there at the ceremony. And he was like, so it wasn't about me caring about being a black belt or trying to be this great martial artist. He's like, I was just forced to go, and it was just this momentum thing, and I just got like half the battle. They say showing up's half the battle.
Yeah, exactly. And it's consistency, and that's what I've seen that a lot on, like, they have these AMAs on BJJ, Reddit, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, not anything else. And that's what they're saying. Like,
blowjob jobs.
Yeah.
Is that what BJJ stands for?
it's
Jobs.
But it's like just showing up is all it is they continue to show up.
Right.
And they might be hurt, but it's
Yeah.
still like that consistency. And over time, and then, that crosses so many different things. It's like the 1% rule.
Everything.
If I'm getting 1% better every day, you wouldn't know, like, you're going to notice a huge change in a year.
And nobody's getting 1% better every day.
No,
Everyone's
no.
getting a sliver of a sliver of
No.
a sliver of a
Yeah.
fraction better every
and
day.
that's another thing too that like I've heard that I think
Try
is an
this.
interesting concept is they were saying specifically with jiu-jitsu, when you are getting better, like getting a promotion validates that, but not a lot of people get a validation. It's not like you get a award every time you do good at your job and you level up.
I heard a
right?
great quote, Aristotle: "Virtue is its own reward,"
Okay.
which
Yeah.
I think is kind of interesting, right? Like the feeling of getting better is its own reward. Nobody,
Yes.
like, you don't get anything for that. Nobody cares. Nobody's evaluating you.
And
Nobody
that's
even knows
external
how.
validation
That's the
too.
exact same thing as doing a good job at your work. It's not about that you're getting paid to do something or not.
No,
It's that you
okay.
do a good job. And that's, you just mentioned something. You
Yeah.
said nobody's willing to look into care about these things because they're not getting paid to care.
It's
we need
not
to have
about
people.
money.
No,
Yeah.
we need to have people that go
Did you
above
try
and
the
beyond
drink?
to make fixes like this. It's not about just getting paid because that's what you have to do. I do so many things outside of my job I don't get paid for.
But
I
you're-
do this
you're
union
a
stuff
uni- you're a
because I'm
unicorn.
trying
You're a
to-
unicorn, though.
Well, then if I'm the unicorn, then I'll fight this and make people understand
Did you
that
try
this
the
process is baloney. I'll find a way. But
I wanna
somebody who
have
has
more,
more power than me, which there's got to be somebody out
At
there.
some point.
There's got to be somebody
No,
out
okay.
there willing to fight this that has power to do so.
But this is
Because
what I'm saying.
It's ridiculous.
50% showing up, that is the baseline of where most people are just at showing up. In an organization, any organization, most people are just there to collect the check and do the least amount they can.
Well, you just told them that they should do that. You
No.
just said
It's
you
your
should go if you're not
responsibility.
getting paid. If you don't have to work hard and get paid, then you should. I think that's the wrong attitude.
No,
to have.
I'm not that type of person.
But you just said you just encourage people
But
to
just
do
listen to what I'm saying, though, about the system thing. So, like, okay, most people are just going to show up, right? And they're just going to, like, not care. And that is what it is. And it's really hard to change that. But, like, to do something great, to accomplish something great, people have to be encouraged to go beyond that, right? Above and beyond.
They have to come across. I get it. If you don't come across a problem that there needs to be fixed, then chill. But if you're
No,
chilling
there's
and you come
infinite
across a
problems.
problem that needs to be fixed, but you have to find the problem. There may not be infinite problems.
No, there are.
But if you don't, let's say you come
convinced.
across a problem and you still are willing to do nothing about it, that is the problem.
But there's no accountability. And, like, for me personally, like, okay, I see people who are like that at work. They don't really get anything accomplished. They don't really do much. But I'm not mad at that. It's like, okay, just do that. If that's who you are, like, maybe trying to get you to do something else is not in the cards. But you have to find the people who care. Like I said, I think a lot about this stuff. And I think about how do I create the optimal system. And it's like, I have all these ideas that I get from online. And there's, like, tons of research to back up that it's the best way to do it. And there's also research to show not only is it the best way to do it, it's also the fastest, and it also costs the least effort. Like, you as a worker will actually be putting less effort in.
Okay.
You might think being lazy, quote unquote, is actually less effort. No, it's more effort than doing it efficiently the right way.
Yeah.
But what I encounter a lot, and this is where the question comes in. This is Jay's got issues here. How do you get not how do you get? That's not the right way to look at it.
How do you make
you can
it
lead
actionable?
a horse, you can lead a horse
Yeah.
to water.
How do you make it actionable?
But you can't make him drink. Like, I
Yeah.
could tell you, like, hey, I have the magical formula for how to build software, and, like, just do what I say. It's gonna feel uncomfortable at first, just like if you were learning tennis for the first time, or just if I came to you, Neil, and I was like, get in a boxing ring and spar for 3 minutes. But I was the former, like,
I'd be
five-time
uncomfortable.
world. I was the 5-time world champion, and I was like, get in the ring and spar. And I'm like, it's gonna feel bad. You're gonna suck. Don't worry. Just trust the process. You would have to believe the person telling you. And most people are like, look, I'm lazy already. Like, I don't think that what you're saying is even true. And even if it is, I don't care enough to put in that initial uncomfortable phase of maybe a month or two to get to the point where I'm totally working differently, but it's within my skill set now, but I'm doing it a different way, and it will be better. It will be easier. People will think you're a great employee.
Well, because people,
but
it goes off.
Isn't going to happen.
Because that's the same thing. I would say that's like almost true leadership. It's leading by example, and like you're setting it, and you are the example for someone that, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, you can be successful in what you're doing, and your life will be better in these ways. And so you can't I understand.
Well, you
what
can
you're
convince
saying.
people below you of that maybe. If
Yeah.
you're their
And
leader. But
that's what I
how
was
do you
gonna
go
say.
to the management
Yeah.
of the company and say, hey, you guys have beliefs and I understand that, but like
getting back to Neil's
research and empirical evidence shows your beliefs are wrong. Are you willing
Yeah.
to try something different even if it's uncomfortable? Most people are not.
Well,
you get what I'm saying? Do you agree with me, though?
I do, but there's a couple things there that I think are nuanced. For one, it's who is this person? Why should I respect what they're saying or even know what they're saying? Why am I going to put the effort in to see what they're saying?
Well, I could say, hey, I have empirical evidence.
Okay.
That's very well vetted. That's research.
And there's some
I
people
can prove
that
to you
then it becomes
scientifically that I'm right.
but ego based, and it's this is my company.
Exactly.
We're gonna do things
Intuition
this way.
and ego, I would say, are the two blockers.
Yes.
My intuition is that this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And my ego is going to tell me, hey, I'm a good developer.
I'm the leader.
This guy's
so,
telling
yeah.
me to do everything different than what I do. I'm a fucking great developer already.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So it's ego, which tells you to reject, and it's intuition, which tells you, hey, I just feel like this guy's wrong because I don't know why, but it's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar. I'm going to reject it out of him.
And it's also the resources. Right. Getting back to Neil's thing with the cashback, or I don't know, whatever it's called. Chargeback. It's you can find a flaw in the system and report it and try everything you can do. But at a certain point, your capabilities and or resources run out. And you have to have help and buy-in from other people. And unless you are able to like create a good story and get people on board, you're not going to go anywhere.
And so you become apathetic.
Well,
when you can't convince people, and when you try
at that
and
point,
you fail,
then you just automatically,
like Jenny said, empathy. I think opposite of empathy is apathy, right?
Yeah,
like not caring, not giving a shit. That attitude, I don't care. Like it affected this person poorly, who I couldn't care. But anyway, I don't know. I just think like, is that something like because I think about leading people? Is that something that you can actually change, or do we just need to accept that the world of false chargebacks is the world we live in? Or is there any possible way to, even within a very small group of people, supersede that overwhelming apathy, overwhelming callousness, disorganization, disarray, inefficiency, incompetence, all these things, right?
This is a question for you because it seems like you're so passionate about it. Have you made changes have you brought this up to upper management? Like, hey, I have them. I don't know if you're talking in theoretical terms of having this stuff, but you're saying like all this stuff with efficiency. And I think that's part of it too. It's one thing to have the idea. It's another to act on it and actually put yourself out there because you're going to be the nail, or I don't know what this, there's some saying like you're the nail that sticks up and that you'll get whacked first.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Well, no, because that's more of it in a positive way. It's the negative way of you're the way. There's a potential of you speaking up.
The early worm gets the bird.
Yeah. Something like that. But then are you going to act on it? So like
that's what I always say.
Like, it's put up or shut up for you is what I'm saying. Like, are you going to do something about it
already?
Okay.
But like,
I bet these big companies are winning the chargebacks.
You know what
I
they
bet
say?
You they are.
The early bird.
I bet you the big companies.
They figured it out.
Oh no, the banks say, oh, Amazon. Oh, give it back the money. Oh, Schneider Tennis.
No,
iPhone.
I don't think it's that.
I bet you it is.
You know what they say? The early bird gets the worm.
How come you can't talk to any person about that? How come there's not one person who will take your call about this? Not one single person.
Can you focus on the current conversation?
You know what they say, Neil?
We're still talking about
early
teams
bird.
and stuff.
The early bird gets. The early bird gets the worm, but what about the early worm? Think about that.
Get the bird. Exactly. Yeah. See, I'm listening.
Yeah, I love saying that. But like, I guess I have like acted on it, and I have but also because that's what I'm interested in. So I'm just like, well, if I focus on this stuff, I don't have to do the mundane work. Which it's like saying the quiet part out loud. Like somebody I work with said that in a meeting, like, oh, I haven't taken any of these like mundane tickets because I'm bored of doing it, so I'm taking something else. And then somebody said, well, it's called work for a reason. Like sometimes we just need to like, and I'm like, I would never openly say.
Yeah, I would not say it. Hey, I'm not doing my job because I'm bored of it, so I'm going to create my own job.
Yeah,
that's essentially what's going on.
I try to do that, but I don't actually say it out loud. But like, I guess in terms of creating my own job, I see the system and I see the problems and I try to fix the problems down the road, which research and empirical evidence shows that actually pays way more dividends than just creating a problem and fixing it after it's already created.
That's
but
part of
most people aren't going to.
It's about it's quarterly. Yeah, I mean, I was in risk management. I did a lot of that maintenance stuff for a while. Where yes. It's preventative maintenance and it's risk management. The more you understand, if you're fixing stuff before it breaks, you're going to save money and you're going to save time. If you understand the risks in the future and you have mitigants in place, you're going to be able to save money. You're going to be able to save time. But people don't think in the long term.
They don't even believe that. On some level, they hear that and they yes, I know theoretically that's true, but they think their case is an exception.
Yes.
No. Maybe that's true for somebody else, but we need to actually cut corners and, not mitigate our risk, and we'll just wait till it breaks. And then they get into a catastrophe, and it's like, oh my God, who could have foreseen? And it's just like, well, you foresaw. You knew this was going to happen, but you didn't want to rock the boat, probably to your boss, so you just let it kind of...
It's a lot of work to make change. It's a lot of money to make change. A lot of money.
I've noticed some companies
are
better than others at it. Like, that's right. We're going ham, Kern.
What are we going?
Some companies are better than others. Like in my career, I've seen companies where it's like you could show them the avalanche. You're standing at the bottom of the mountain and there's an avalanche coming, and you're like, guys, we should do something about the avalanche. And literally, they just turn around and they're like, no. We need to finish building chocolate. We need to finish building the snowman in the front yard, and then we can worry about other stuff. Yeah. Because our customers want snowmen. Well, no, and you're like, but if the avalanche comes, there's going to be no town to build any snow, and there'll be more snow than we ever dreamed of. And I think at that point, our customers won't care about snowmen.
That's the whole climate change thing,
right?
And the whole idea of like thinking quarterly to quarterly.
Yeah, but you have
what
to be
are
able
our
to
stocks, and we're going to increase.
Right.
And it happens all the time. You blow out, or it happened in oil and gas where you get to the end of the quarter and you haven't hit your targets. And so what they do is they just open the floodgates on the oil, completely mess up the reservoir because it messes up all the pressure, right? And this is maybe getting very specific. They're producing a lot just to hit the numbers, but it's actually shooting yourself in the foot because all that pressure was going to, over time, push up a lot more oil. And you basically, it's
like cutting off the hand despite the foot.
Yeah, you're shaking up a bottle of.
That's the phrase.
You're shaking up a bottle of soda, and instead of like slowly opening it for profits are the bubbles coming out. You go, I need the profits now. Boom, and then you try and get them again, and there's nothing there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't know if that
makes
sense.
You can't shake the bottle and get the same amount of pressure.
More money over time than you would be by doing
so that's what is holding back software.
That's what's holding back
the
everything.
World. Right. No, but that's what I said to Tita.
That's what I said. It requires a salesman to bring those.
No. Listen.
Sell the problem.
A storyteller
who brings. Yeah. Not a storyteller. Well,
I think a storyteller.
Yeah. Why did it have to be a storyteller?
What's a salesman?
Let me wrap up my point though. Let me wrap up my point. The Chick-fil-A thing.
You have to sell the
when
problem.
The Chick-fil-A thing with the nuggets happened, and obviously that was very traumatic for me, and so I appreciate everyone's empathy. I said to Tita, this is the exact same thing that they're talking about in all these software podcasts, where these people who have done decades of research in psychology, they've like ingested hundreds of code bases, studied teams over and over. This is what they have come to. The thing that you're saying that's holding everyone back, the thing we're talking about, which is obvious actually. That's the problem. They're like, that is why these software systems aren't great. That is why these companies are failing. That's why the Chick-fil-A nuggets didn't come the right way. It's because of whatever the whole thing we're talking about, that profit. I think it's basically that profit motivation, that short-term thinking motivation. The shake the can and get the bubbles now, and who cares if the soda's flat later.
Yes.
That is how I would say that is the default way of thinking in our world, in our society at least. We live in a society. No, I'm just kidding. But like that's the default way of thinking. So when the chargeback thing happens to you, I'm like, of course, because everyone is trying to get to 50%, and that's a failing grade, and that's where most people are at. And if you want anything above that 50% of effort, you have to either beg, borrow, steal, claw your way to the top, or just give up eventually. And I think that's just like a life lesson that you have to
I
learn.
have a way you can fix your Chick-fil-A situation. There's this thing called a chargeback. Okay? You issue the chargeback, you get your money back.
Hey,
It was
I never
fraud.
went to Chick-fil-A.
It was
Customer's
fraud.
always
Never
right.
received my
Chick-fil-A
chicken.
probably has like a company that has like, here's his license plate, here's the time, here's him eating fries in the car before he drove away, here is the receipt, here's his
Would
fingerprints
they be willing to do
lifted
it? They're
from
probably
the...
not going to do the time. Do the chargeback,
Right.
say you never got the product,
The
and that's
executives go, how much was it? $15. Literally,
Give it.
it cost me more time. It cost more money for you to say that to me
Yeah.
and me
That
to
one
answer.
sentence.
So issue
Yeah.
the chargeback.
That cost
Issue
$1,500.
it.
So get out of my office or
Issue
you're
it.
fired.
You'll get the money back. You'll get your refund.
Yeah,
Issue it. Why not?
that's a good point. Well, this was a fun
Well,
app.
Get our bit rates. We're gonna do some homework. Actually, come with potentially topics.
No, these topics.
links.
This topic I brought up was good. Come on, that was some quality conversation.
I mean,
there.
boxing.
Will did not like the show, and I would
Well,
never
the
tell
first
by your
four-
demeanor
the
during
first
the whole
40
show. I would
minutes
have never told.
The first 40
Never
minutes we
thought.
talked about Francis Ngannou, so I honestly think we've only really been going for an hour because we talked about boxing for way too long. Will was deluded into believing that he's like elite in yet
Maybe
another
he
sport
is.
he's done the first time.
Could he be? He
So
might
you're
be.
saying he is the Francis Ngannou of our friend group? He can just
could
go
be.
into a random sport and just go, "What is MMA?"
he could.
That's the story about MMA. If you ever heard his early interviews, he was like, "I went to a gym in Paris, and I said I want to do boxing," and then the guy said, "You should try MMA," and I said, "What is MMA?" And 4 years later, he was the champion, ladies and gentlemen. So that's
built different.
There you
Will
go.
Trainer's skill here.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. We got to keep talking through the outro. Come
Oh
on.
yeah.
I am pretty good at boxing.
SchneiderTennis.com.
I am
If
pretty
you
good
don't
at
issue
boxing.
a chargeback.
SchneiderTennis.com. SchneiderTennis.com.
You can also
SchneiderTennis.com.
use
Code
promo
Will
code
Will.
boxing.
It
No.
should be
10%
10%
off.
off WIW. That
That's
would have
way
been
better.
good.
That's
Well, I already
what
said it already.
Sarah said. Well, you can change it. You're the one. Aren't you the boss?
Yeah, but now
Aren't
what if they don't listen to the whole show and now they think, oh, my Who Invited? I can make two codes.
Nice.
WIW and Who Invited Will.
Okay. I like that.
Thanks
See,
for
that's
tuning
called
in.
solving problems. You see, you came with me with the problem and I came to you with the solution. I could have just said, I'm out. No, you know what? But I wanted to make a solution. Unlike the rest of our United States.
I love what that does to the green screen.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
out of
awesome.
here.
Bye.